Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? I'm not doing great, but that doesn't matter. We're back. Another week, another episode. This is Stats Over Politics. As always, I'm your host, Sean Holko, alongside my guys, Jaevon Toddy. Also not feeling well, Garry Singh, who is fashionably late. Thank you for joining us. And none other than our frequent guest, who has been with us through this entire NFL season, Mr. Kaz Johnson of Kazzy TV. Kaz, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. You guys hear me right?
Yep, we got you.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just kicking it. Actually live right now myself, and yeah, when I got that the email from you and asking if I wanted to join, I did not hesitate. So after what I witnessed last night, I can say I am finally at peace. So.
Well, that's nice. At least one of us is at peace here. And, you know, Kaz, as I said, you were with us all throughout the NFL season, our most frequent guest here on Stats Over Politics. And everyone can watch this same stream right now being simulcast on Kazzy TV that you can find on YouTube as well. And you know, Kevin wasn't able to join us tonight. Alyssa, his wife, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Alyssa. But as I mentioned on Friday or Thursday's episode that Jaevon and I recorded last week, Kevin's not going to be unable to join us for a while just due to his work schedule being changed. But I did want to give a shout out to Alyssa and wish her a happy birthday. And since Kevin wasn't here to clown us, Kaz, I figured that you could do the honor for the both of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'll keep it real because Kevin said it best. He actually slid in my stream last night. And he's like, yeah, man, make sure when you get up in there, you know what I'm saying, give him hell. You know what I'm saying? It's been all season long, all off season, all regular season. He's like, and I think he mentioned he wasn't going to be there, if I'm not mistaken. But I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to be there, bro. But I also wanted to say real quick that I'm actually not live on YouTube. I'm live on Twitch right now. So
my bad. Got you.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're good. You're good. But live on Twitch, but all the same stuff, Kazzy TV. But yeah, so I was bummed that Kevin wasn't going to be here because I was like, man, this is going to be the perfect timing for both of us to get in there and to get our sweet revenge. But I mean, all in all, it's all good. So.
Well, I appreciate you for joining us and thank you for clarifying that you're on Twitch. That's something that we tried to get on. We were on it for a while, but then we kind of recently just replaced it with Instagram. Anyways, Jaevon, we haven't heard from you yet. I know that you're as sad, if not sadder than me today. But just how are you doing?
Been better days. Not gonna lie. Better days have yet to come. It, it's kind of tough to put into words. Kind of waking up in the morning and trying to have a good day, and then you remember it all of a sudden. Oh yeah, we lost yesterday. So
same thing happened to me.
Yeah, thought it was a dream. Woke up, checked the box score, and made sure it wasn't real. And that happened yesterday. So
that happened.
That happened. It did indeed happen yesterday.
Yeah, it did happen. And it's funny that you say that, just because I basically went through the same emotions this morning, where like last night I got home from my friend Emiliano's Super Bowl party that he had. I appreciate him for having me. Emiliano, who joined us way back when, probably about a year ago on Stats Over Politics. I got home probably around like 9:30, kind of immediately fell asleep. And then I woke up this morning feeling pretty good, refreshed. I got a good night of sleep, something that Jaevon probably can't relate to right now as a new dad. But I woke up feeling pretty good, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go and conquer the day. Like it's going to be a good Monday. And then I had that same realization where I was like, oh, yeah, the 49ers really did lose the Super Bowl again yesterday.
You just had a baby, bro?
I did.
Dude,
Monday.
Congrats,
last Monday,
man. Yeah, dude, congrats, man. Real talk, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, he's a week old now. So a quick backstory. So shortly after the Super Bowl ended, not gonna lie, Shaun, my jersey may or may not have ripped. Might not have been from me, but it might have been from somebody else. But I was like, you know what? Sat in the corner for about 30 minutes. So was trying to get me to sit up, cheer up. I was like, you know what? Let me see my son real quick. So I'm holding him, just trying to get that joy back. Get that joy back. Make sure everything's all good to go. And he shits on me. And so I immediately snapped out of it and was just like straight into dad mode. And I was just like, there's no way that this happened. But yeah, you can't make this up. But want to give a shout out to my boy Gary. We
nailed it.
We had a wager, and he got me. He got me last minute. He got me last
minute. Had to get both of y'all real quick.
Last takers. He went into the group chat and was like, I was driving, so I didn't see the message right away. So Shaun is showing his in. I am currently sending mine live on stream.
Kaz, isn't it lovely today, my boy?
We just sent that thing. Sent that thing over to Gary.
Yes, sir. Wow. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys.
Got hit yesterday. Got hit.
You got hit up. Ooh, I know both of y'all probably did. I know Shaun probably did.
The entire 2 weeks. The entire 2 weeks. I did not make a single bet. I resisted from making any types of bets. I resisted reaching out to people about making bets. The only person I asked about making a bet was my brother Terry, who is a lifelong Chiefs fan. And so I just inquired with him, and he already had like 10 bets with 49ers fans. So I was like, all right, I'm going to let you chill. And so I thought I wasn't going to make a bet on the game. I was nervous. I was confident, but I was nervous because of Patrick Mahomes, and we'll get into that. But all week or all 2 weeks, I thought, man, all right, I'm not going to have a bet on this game. And then Gary goes slithering in. Hey, you guys want to make a cool $50? I was just thinking $50 each before, like an hour before the game. So Gary got us. Anyways, Gary, thank you for joining us. He was fashionably late and dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties, but you're rocking with us, so we appreciate you. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's up, guys? I know we coming to the funeral today. You know what? Since my guy Kev's not here, I feel like I gotta up the Kev, the trolliness. I'll leave the trolling to Kev, but since Kev ain't here, man, had to play something for y'all. Oh yeah, can y'all hear this or no?
Oh, we could hear it like tiny.
Put it closer.
Let's put a little closer for E40.
I can see the title of it though.
You don't hear E40? Oh man, I'm sorry, Vaughn. You don't want to fool act. I wish I could screenshot your face right now. I know this is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one. I love my 840, and that's a good ass song, even though I hate the Niners, as y'all know. But you know what? I don't know if we're at in the show. We're still introducing the show. Do we have a question up yet, or Sean? But just overall,
no.
I just want to say before we even start, it was a great. Other than me trolling you guys right now, I want to mess with you guys, and I know Sean's probably going to say, your team wasn't there or something like that. Whatever. Everyone has their deathbed made for the season. Today is your guys's. You guys had 2 weeks to enjoy the dancing to get to the Super Bowl. You guys had a great season, but only one team gets to celebrate today, and it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And to every other NFL fan, you're going to be crying, waiting for next year. So you guys can put up everyone. Here we go. 2024 season starts now, but the next season ain't here yet. And I'm just happy it was a great Super Bowl. It was a great game. It was just a great game overall. I almost had a heart attack. I'm not going to lie. This game was crazy.
Well, let's get right into it as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime of Super Bowl 58. The Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions for the first team to do it since 2004 when the Patriots did it. So it has been a long time. And before we get into the game itself, Toddy, Kaz, please join me in giving a round of applause to the man who predicted that the Chiefs would repeat as Super Bowl champions, Mr. Gary Singh.
Appreciate you.
Toddy with the one clap. As you know, I just got to give Gary his flowers.
Super Bowl prediction. Did you have the Niners in the Super Bowl?
I'm not gonna lie, I think I had the Eagles, but it's okay. The winners will matter.
Yeah, well, he did get the winner.
Bracket. Did I win the playoff bracket too now?
I'm not sure. You'll have to count it up. I'm sure you will. But anyways, Gary, I just wanted to give you your flowers because we talk about the infamous notebook all the time and all the bad takes are on the notebook. But you nailed that one, so congratulations. But the Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions, first team to do it in 20 years. And I just want to give a shout out to Uncle Manny, who's always rocking with us, as he says, Gary, great preseason pick. And Uncle Manny's also says, props to the 49ers fans for not calling out today. It was a great game and both teams gave it all they had. Congrats to the Chiefs and the baby goat. Have a great season. Thank you, Uncle Manny. I'm sorry, but that was hard for me to read. But anyways, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. They beat the 49ers in overtime. Kaz, as our guest, I'm going to throw it to you first. Just what were your takeaways from this Super Bowl?
So I was live streaming yesterday, like I said, and I was watching the game on my phone. I'm right in front of me, and one thing I noticed was, and low-key, I kind of expected it, but a little more than, I guess I envisioned, but slow. I was like, man, I'm surprised. There's not a lot of fireworks to start this game off. The first half was very stale. We didn't really see any sort of excitement besides, the one pick from by Mahomes, and then a couple key sacks by your guys' defense. But other than that, just defenses showed up. Both offenses didn't really do much. The guys who are the superstars on both sides, Chris McCaffrey and Travis Kelce, those two alone that's pretty much it. It was the McCaffrey Kelce show, and that's about it. Purdy had a very Brock Purdy like game. Mahomes had a very, I won't say he didn't have a bad game, but he had a very, whatever-ish game. I think he went for 320 some.
333.
Yeah, 333 through the air. Then he had 69 or something like that on the ground, that was great. But all in all, there was no fireworks in the Super Bowl. There was none. There was, I couldn't even count on one hand, that was an amazing, huge play. There was a couple Mahomes runs that are that was game changing. But that was about it. I thought it was a defensive dominant game for the most part. Up until the second half and going into the fourth quarter, I think I tweeted something. I said, there's going to be something crazy that happens in this game. And then I went to overtime, and I'm like, there's going to be something crazy that's going to happen in overtime to end this game. And I did not have, Mahomes into the game with almost 70 yards rushing on my bingo card at all. But there it was. So I thought it was, for the most part, pretty stale Super Bowl. It wasn't boring, but it was far from exciting. And I seen a lot of tweets and posts about, of course, the refs, this and that. I'm like, dude, come on. It goes, but I don't know how Niners fans are feeling right now. I only have a couple Niners fans that I'm friends with outside of you guys. And I'm like, do you guys feel cheated? Do you feel like you guys showed up and this was taken from you? I don't think you guys showed up and I don't think Kyle Shanahan schemed that well on offense for you guys to go out there and to do something tremendous. Brock Purdy missed a couple key throws, but he didn't have a bad game. Okay. George Kittle was non-existent. All right. It was just McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk had a couple key plays, Debo, whatever. That was it.
Jawan Jennings.
That was your superstar outside of McCaffrey. McCaffrey had like 170 or 160 all-purpose yards, something like that. I mean, and then Jawan Jennings. That's it. That's not going to win you a Super Bowl, but it's going to keep the game close, which the game was close. But you cannot have a team like the Chiefs that are led by a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, who is arguably a top 2 coach of all time. So the end result was exactly how the end result should have been, given you guys had opportunities and you did not capitalize. The better team, if you were to ask me, won yesterday. So,
all right, Gary. Well, you were right. You did predict this all season long. And so, number one, where's the baby goat rank right now for you all time? And number two, just how did this game go from your perspective?
Oh, there's so many takes and angles we can go with this game. I know we're going to get into them. My overall, I got to disagree with Kaz. I'm not going to lie, brother. I don't know what game you were watching, but that game was super exciting to me. Sheesh, especially the second half, fourth quarter overtime. That was going neck and neck back at it. Defense, I know first half, I guess, was in fireworks, guns a-blazing, but man, that first half was in terms of, I took away from that first half was basically the Niners could have had a chance to stop on the Kansas City's neck. Simple. Like how many chances they had to take over that game, going 10-3, and they're getting the ball at second half. I really thought, was really set up for them. And, you could tell both teams' defense in that first half were just lights out. I couldn't tell. I just really want to give props to both defenses in the first half because you couldn't. I was going to say maybe they're playing with nerves or anything like that. Got Christian McCaffrey fumble. We always had Pacheco fumble early on as well. So I thought maybe it was a little bit of that. But at the same time, you just got to give credit for the defense. They were just all attack, all go. Everyone on both sides was acting a demon, to be honest with you. And then the second half, I think if you look at it, really the third quarter, after, again, Patrick Mahomes throws an interception in this quarter as well as they give the ball up and you guys they don't score on the first drive either in the second half either. So it was just like I felt like chance after chance, and I was just shocked that I'm like, this is like, even though I've been saying all year, KC's defense has been carrying him in a way, keep him in this game. But man, like you guys weren't going to be able to capitalize on that. Then the Chiefs, I felt like weren't able to capitalize on their thing. And finally they got the break. The breaks will all break. They're special teams, and they always say you got to be better in all three phases of the game. The special teams, a little blunder, or you could call whatever. That's a tough one. It's not really his fault because he's blocking. He's not worried about the football hitting his foot when he's blocking. But, it's kind of one of those awareness things, and boom, taps his foot, and they get an easy touchdown. And things change from there, man. And at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to basically you guys let Patrick Mahomes, as Shaun just said, I've been calling him all year, the baby GOAT. Linger around, and if you let that happen, then bad things happen at the end. You just ask any team that he went through. Ask the Bengals, who he has literally beat, the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins. The crazy part is that he's in this dynasty run right now. And I was just thinking earlier today, he's in this dynasty run. He's in the AFC with the better quarterbacks, and he's stopping all these guys, and all these guys are now going to be held to this level at 28, and he's already in the conversation of, like Shaun started the segment about, is he with Brady already? And I don't think no one, especially when he lost to Brady, I didn't think it was going to be very hard for him to get in this conversation again. And, he just kept on pushing, and they just kept on fighting when everyone was doubting them with the catches this year. And it's, I just kept saying, like, he's on that Michael Jordan, LeBron-esque run where he's just dominating every which way. And if you give that man a chance at the end, he's going to make you pay. And this time he did it for a team that everyone called better than him. He was counting out 4 times. This whole team was counting out 4 times. Underdogs the whole way through this run. And they go back to back. So, in my opinion, this was a great, one really great Super Bowl in my mind, just to see you go nip and tuck. You got to give credit to the Niners. They fought hard. I want to dance in your grave a lot. I'm not going to lie today, but it's hard to, because you guys really played really hard, and there's nothing about it. I don't think you guys should feel robbed or anything. I think it just came down to you guys let one of the best quarterbacks all time, to answer Shaun's question. In my mind, he's still baby GOAT. Tom Brady's still the GOAT overall. He's right there in number 2. But you let one of the guys on Mount Rushmore now have the ball very end. You guys went for a field goal, and he knew it's either I get a touchdown, it's game over, and we get this bowl, or it's a field goal, and we might have more time. But I just had a feeling, I was just like, even when the 2-minute drop, surprising, and then the 2-minute drill in the fourth. but he knew that his defense could get a stop. And man, oh man, that's all I just feel like. It just came down to him having the ball last, and he just made what greats always do in this game: just make great opportunities and make great memories. And now the Niners will be in for 2 of those in the history, just being, might go down as one of the best teams in history ever in history to never win a Super Bowl. Because if we go down the line of how many Hall of Famers you guys got, you can't hate on that at all, because and now you got people questioning the coach now today too. So it's just a whole whirlwind of things. And at the end of the day, I think if I was a Niners fan, I'd be sad and heartbroken, obviously, but I'd be happy too, because at the same time, expectations were for you guys to get here. So yeah, like, you can say the Steelers, you could say the Eagles, or whatever team you want to say that didn't get here. Expectations for you guys to get here, and you guys met the expectations, and you guys just couldn't get over the hump. And losing to a GOAT, one of the GOATs, ain't too bad, man. It ain't too bad.
Shout out to our guy James for tuning in on Instagram Live, as he says, it's heartbreaking, the most heartbreaking one yet, but I'm still faithful to the Bay. And James falls in the same category as Jaevon and I, where we're diehard 49ers fans that have never seen our team win a Super Bowl. So it's very painful. And now I toss it to James' cousin, Mr. Jaevon Toddy, who is very much a diehard fan like all of us. And he's very sad, just like I am. So, Jaevon, you have the floor. Just give us your thoughts.
Let it all out, as they say.
Yeah.
We get the ball first. The coin toss was kind of whoever gets the ball is going to defer at halftime, because the Chiefs were going to defer and Shanahan usually defers. So whoever was going to win was going to say, you have the ball first. No, you have the ball. So we get the ball first, and we're kind of firing on all cylinders. McCaffrey, we're hitting guys over the middle, and I'm pumped. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, here we go. It's going to be one of these days. Get into the red zone. McCaffrey fumbles. I'm like, he was down, right? Like, he doesn't fumble the ball. Like, he's only fumbled 3 times the entire year, or twice. That was his third year. That was his third time, and I was like, his knee was down. We'll be all right. Turnover.
Had to be.
Chiefs get the ball, and I'm just like, bro, like, we had. The one thing that I said is we cannot give Mahomes extra possessions in any type of way possible, because if you give him extra possessions, he's going to pay, and he doesn't turn the ball over in the postseason. I think it's been a few years since the last time he's had a turnover in
Bengals 3 years ago.
Yeah, so kind of just looking back at it like, okay, that's not good. And then the defense kind of was firing on all cylinders. Hats off to Chase Young, who showed up, Javon Hargrave, shout out to the Eagles, for stepping up, because he was kind of non-existent, I'd say, throughout the playoffs. Nick Bosa probably had the best game of his career season. I don't know. I thought
while being held every play,
I thought he was very very effective. And Eric Armstead too definitely showed up. I think whenever he's healthy, he can be definitely a force up the middle.
Sacramento's finest.
I thought Mooney Ward played well. I thought Deommodore Lenoir played very well. We held Travis Kelce to like a catch and a yard in like the first half, so you couldn't ask for anything better. I thought there were definitely some possessions where we kind of stalled in the first half, where it was like, okay, like, we're getting the ball. Like, defense is doing their job, right? Defense is doing their job. We end up scoring with the crazy Jawan Jennings throwback. I thought it looked like when Purdy threw it to Jawan, Jawan was going to throw it back to Purdy, and then Purdy was going to throw it to fucking, I don't know, whoever was running.
George Kittle. Yeah. George Kittle down the seam was apparently the number 1 option, and then McCaffrey was the number 2.
And freaking Burford jumps in front of L'Jarius Sneed, who could have definitely turned that into a pick 6. And McCaffrey runs all the way in, and it's a freaking touchdown. And I was like, oh my God, we just scored. We're up 10-0. But at the same time, when we were up 10-0, I was like, I've seen this movie before. We've been up 10 against Mahomes in the Super Bowl before. So my mind
up 11 going into the 4th.
So my mind was kind of like, we need to score again. we need to score a field goal, a touchdown. We need to go up by multiple, like 2 touchdowns. We got to go up at least by that. And it never kind of panned out in the second half. The Niners kind of stalled throughout the second half. Spagnuolo was blitzing the shit out of Purdy, and Purdy wasn't very good against the blitz, which was abnormal of him because he's usually, well, statistically, he was like 12 of 19 against the blitz, but in like very key spots where we needed, certain conversions on third down, he was not great. I think overall on third down, he was like 3 of 12, which is not good. But against the blitz overall, that's a totally different stat. But kind of going into the second half, I'm like, okay, like Mahomes gets the ball. We need to get a stop. I think we get the interception out of halftime, if I'm not mistaken.
Shortly after.
I think it was, I don't know if it was directly after because
early third, I think.
I think it was, it was early in the third quarter we get the interception because I think the Chiefs, they get a field goal. So we're up 10-6. And Mahomes throws a pick. And I was like, this is a gift from Jesus Christ himself. Mahomes does not turn the ball over, let alone in the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs, he does not turn the ball over. So I'm like, oh, bro, we just got a pick. We need to go down and score a touchdown. What happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. We don't do anything with the ball again. And I'm just like, bro, like, why are we letting them hang around? Hanging around here, hanging around there. They punt. We fumble on the punt return. Now, it wasn't a muff punt. Chris Conley, like, I guess the ball like hit his ankle or something like that, and Rare McLeod was he was trying to recover it, and it was just the whole thing was fucked up from the jump. So, I'm like, okay,
that's why they yell Peter.
Okay, hey, let's maybe the defense go out there and stop. Nope, next play, Mahomes touchdown. Chiefs go up for the first time, and I'm just like, there's no way this is happening currently right now. My mind started to flash back to the Lions game when we got the fumble recovery against Jahmyr Gibbs and all of the momentum started to change. I was feeling that momentum shift, and it was like the Niners have to respond. So that they go up. Purdy kind of, answers pretty. I thought the defense, I thought we got away from the run game initially in the third quarter. For the majority of the game, we were running the ball pretty solidly. I thought in the third quarter we got a little bit pass happy, but at the same time, Spagnuolo was starting to adjust to our, style of play, and they were stuffing the run. So we were facing downs in the third quarter where it was like, instead of it being like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, it's like 2nd and 9, 2nd and 14, just 2nd and 12. So we had a bunch of false start penalties, a couple of by Trent Williams, which was very unlike him.
3, bro. I'm like,
we had a. I thought we lost the penalty battle because we were, instead of it, and these were on second down plays. They were on like first down to where we probably still could have ran and been able to get a little bit of the yardage back going into third down and second down. We're faced with like 2nd and 20, 2nd and 23, 2nd and 15. And then on that second down, we try to run the ball or pass the ball, and it's 3rd and long now. And we're just like kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. So it's not helping us. We're kind of hurting ourselves more than helping ourselves. But the Niners end up responding with the touchdown catch to Jawan Jennings, who was a monster in this whole entire game.
Then Moody.
And then the kick gets blocked by special teams was not in. Special teams wasn't really in sync. And
I'm surprised y'all even kept Moody.
For the special teams not to be in sync,
he balled out yesterday.
Jake Moody hits 2 50-plus yard field goals. And
he just been iffy all offseason. Remember he missed one earlier to this offseason? This postseason?
Every time he kicks the ball, I want to speak for all 49er fans. We hold our breath because
exactly. So that means you need to
every time he kicks the ball, I'm just like, here we go. We got a rookie kicker kicking in the Super Bowl. Like, please. And then, Kyle just sent him out there, not really flinching, which I got to give him credit for. But all 49er fans are terrified when Jake Moody steps out on the field. Now he hit 2 50-plus field goals, 50-yard field goals yesterday. It just so happens that, the easier extra point that we kind of needed, kicks it into, he kind of line drives it, and we're only up 3 points now. So that's just another little nugget of just kind of just letting them hang around instead of going up by 4, which instead of a field goal doesn't really do anything. Oh, you're just saying I got to go down and kick a field goal? That's nothing for old Mahomes, man. I get that, he's kind of been under duress all day, but hey, I can get us in field goal range. So the Chiefs get the ball back, and I'm just like, all right, like we got to get a stop. And they drive all the way down the field. They don't just get into field goal range. They get into it's like 1st and goal, 2nd and goal. I'm thinking like, we need to stop them from scoring a touchdown because the game might be over. If they'll end it off of a touchdown. And I'm just like, Mahomes to Kelsey, I'd say from the first half, which I really didn't give Kelsey stats. He only had like 1 catch or 2 catches for a yard or a catch for a yard or whatever it was. He ended up ending the game with like 90 yards.
93.
He was the leader as far as receptions, catches, all of that.
He should be.
And they get into the red zone, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God, we're gonna lose to Patrick Mahomes in regulation. The defense stalls them, and they kick the field goal. So we're going into overtime. Let's
talk about overtime. Sensitive subject.
I'm a little nervous going into OT.
Are you guys mad? Do you guys want the ball or no? Do you guys mad that he kept the ball?
Different in overtime. I get that both teams are going to be
49ers didn't know that, Jaevon. We knew that. Half the team
Everyone
didn't know that.
I really don't think
Kyle Juszczyk and Eric Armstead both literally said in their post-game media
not to be mean, but they fucked up.
That the overtime rules changed.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't. I think it does matter. It does matter because Jaevon, it matters.
Mahomes goes down and scores a touchdown. Then what?
Then you
get the ball back.
Go back and score a touchdown.
No. Well, no, the difference is if Mahomes goes down and scores a touchdown, then when you get the ball, because of the new overtime rules, it's just like college. You know that you have to score a touchdown. Therefore, you do 4-down territory, just like the Chiefs did 4-down territory in their drive. Instead, the 49ers settled for a field goal. And Jaevon, I'll pass the mic back to you, but for the team, Chiefs players were saying after the game, yes, we talked about that numerous times. We went over the double overtime rules, the new overtime rules. But yet, Kyle Juszczyk,
in the Super Bowl.
Well, the thing is Kyle Juszczyk fucking went to Harvard. That guy's smart. Eric Armstead is very smart. We see everything he does off the field in the community of Sacramento. 2 very smart football players both said that they didn't know about this. To me, Kyle Shanahan prepared for everything except for this. And how no one in the 49ers organization thought about this, thought about prepping themselves for this exact scenario. When I saw things on Twitter leading up to this game saying, this game's going to go to double overtime. And people were talking about it before the game. And just for the organization to not all know about it collectively going into such a big game, that's the part that irks me. And Jaevon, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You can go ahead and finish talking about how the 49ers were incompetent in overtime. Go ahead.
Well, I really don't think it matters, to be honest, just because of the fact that our defense got shredded up and down the field previously. So I see they
still gave up 19 points though through regulation. So they did their job for most of the game.
I still see the angle on us getting the ball and just giving the defense a break for a second and just going down. I think you could have argued that you still would have needed a touchdown if you're going to give the ball back to Mahomes. You're not going to try.
They shouldn't have went on 4th and 2
open. Just going into overtime, us getting the ball. The drive was damn near almost over after 3 plays, but we got touched by an angel with a holding penalty. That kind of rejuvenated our offense back up, and Purdy was scrambling, running for his life, and making off-schedule plays, tight window throws. Brandon Ayuk, he's hitting. Debo Samuel's getting involved. George Kittle had a crazy catch. And the throw to Kyle Juszczyk was probably the best throw that he had, probably all game. We stall out on 3rd down. 3rd and 4 is kind of where the free rusher gets. Chris Jones is a free rusher, which I don't know how the best defensive player arguably on the Chiefs is the free rusher. You're looking at it. if you're looking at the tape, I saw that Brandon Ayuk was wide ass open, jumping up and down in the back of the end zone. And you also could see that Jawan Jennings would have ended up being wide open, but I feel like the play was designed for Ayuk because Ayuk made whoever was guarding him, I think it was L'Jarius Sneed, he fell, and he was fucking wide ass open in the back of the end zone. So it's 3rd and 4. I think we were at like the 12-ish yard line or whatever it was. So you could have looked at it and been like, do we go for it? But going for it was in the back of my mind, but at the same time, you're like, okay, we don't get it. Mahomes just has to get half of what he originally needs to get to basically go win the game. So you're looking at it like they need a touchdown to score to win, and they have to go basically the length of the field. But it is Patrick Mahomes, so it's not like this is his first rodeo and he hasn't done anything like this before. So we end up kicking the field goal, and I'm fucking sweating bullets. We get to a 4th down, which was pretty surprising. 4th and 1. They're in shotgun. I'm like, bro, they're in shotgun. 4th and 1. There's no way that we don't stop them here. They run a freaking read option with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce leading the way, and Nick Bosa bites on the fake when he's supposed to have outside contain on that play. And Mahomes just runs right by him. They get the first down. I'm just like, oh, great, awesome. And then we get 3rd and 6. So I'm like, we got another opportunity to get a stop.
Walk it down again.
And we blitz. Why are we blitzing Patrick Mahomes? Like, what are we doing? This isn't.
There was nothing you're gonna be able to do, bro.
There's
nothing you're gonna be able to do.
The first half, I'm not gonna lie, it was working the first half.
We run man, he runs just up the middle for freaking 50 yards. We run zone, he picks us apart. We blitz, they're gonna get us on a crossing route. So it's like, what can you really do? It's really nothing that you can really do. I think it's just you're seeing the Chiefs kind of just slowly start to drive down the field. Pacheco gets involved and he gets all the way into the red zone, and I'm just like, they're gonna win, aren't they? And then you heard Tony Romo was like, he said it weirdly. I was like, this is just the first quarter of overtime, but I think what he was trying to say is if the time would have expired, the Chiefs would have still had the ball. They just would have reversed fields. And so
there ain't no panic.
Mahomes throws it to who is it? McCall.
The corn dog play
was he was wide ass open in the end zone. We lose.
Hartman.
And it did not feel good when you just we had way too many chances to win this game. Really, not even win this game, to put this game away with, getting turnovers, free turnovers that the Chiefs never turn the ball over, especially in the playoffs. So we did nothing with the turnovers. I feel like the defense forced multiple punts. We weren't able to convert off of those. We were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, which ultimately left the door for he's the 2nd best quarterback in NFL history. I'm just going to say that now. Last year after the Super Bowl when they beat the Eagles, I was like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's kind of, no, he's the 2nd best quarterback ever. So I've seen enough. He's never been on the road in the playoffs. He goes on the road. He's undefeated straight up as an underdog. Like, it's just, if you would have just bet on Patrick Mahomes the whole playoffs, you would have won a ton of money. Hats off to the Chiefs. They beat us again in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce is bumping into freaking Andy Reid on the sideline in the first half. I was like, bro, this is the greatest time. Like, they were in their feelings. We get a turnover. Like, we need to fucking.
Great teams find a way, bro. Great teams find a way.
I just think it's the anomaly of Patrick Mahomes. That's kind of what it is. And I saw somebody say that this is kind of what it feels like when Michael Jordan was in the league, and you had the Houston Rockets, you had the Utah Jazz, and all these other just random ass teams going
Bad Boy Pistons
against and it's just like whenever Jordan is playing in the finals, he won. So it's just like I have no words. Patrick Mahomes beat us again. And somehow the Niners opened up as favorites for next year. No idea.
That's so disrespect.
I have no idea how that's possible, but we're going to be faced with some things to deal with in the offseason. So there are going to be some guys that are going to have to leave. I think an underrated thing. Oh, I want to definitely also mention that our star linebacker, Dre Greenlaw, hurts himself running onto the field.
Man,
he tears his Achilles trying to run onto the field. I don't know if that's not
for him to feel better.
Injury that's been reported, but it looks like it's an Achilles injury. Yep. So that did not help because the first couple of drives, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner that were in on basically every play. And another guy that we definitely missed was Talanoa Hufanga, our all-pro safety who tore his ACL earlier in the year. We really didn't. The defense couldn't have played any better. I just think the offense could have definitely capitalized on a bunch more things. We had a bunch of opportunities and could not capitalize off those at all. Kaz was saying he knows a bunch of Niner fans, and he was seeing stuff on Twitter saying that, do you feel like the Niners were cheated, this, that, and third? I don't feel like the Niners were cheated. I feel like the Niners just left the door open for Patrick Mahomes. Well, they left the door open, unlocked in the hood, and the guy came in. They left it wide open. Like, they didn't leave it
robbed your ass.
They just left it wide open with all the Christmas presents in the living room, and they came and took everything. So Mahomes is a 3-time champion. In his first 6 years, that's probably the greatest start to anyone's career in NFL history. If I would just be spitballing here, but he's gonna go down as probably the greatest quarterback of all time, dare I say it, but he's got a little bit of a ways to go. Tom Brady had 20 years to get 7. Patrick Mahomes is already at 3 in 6 years. So hats off to the Chiefs. And Andy Reid is definitely making his case for probably the best coach of all time, too.
I was waiting on that. I was surprised that he wasn't brought up beforehand. It was all Mahomes. I'm like, dude, the play calling and that scheme is all Andy Reid.
He's the best coach in the league.
Even mentioning that when it was 4th and 1, they just run a quarterback, they run a read option. No, that's a well-designed play by Andy Reid.
There was a bunch of well-designed plays.
Yeah, I watched that play.
He said that he's going to take it himself, though. He told Andy, if it's not there, I'm running it. So I ain't going to lie, Andy does do a lot of great things. But that last one we talked about, though, Kaz, he said,
the 4th and 1?
He said, I'm taking it myself. Yeah, he said it. He was like, he told Coach, if it's open, that's why I took the timeout. He said, if it's open, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, having Travis Kelce motion the way that they did, it's just like somebody in my chat right now says unorthodox play style versus fundamental football won't work against him, and I agree with that. Like, they do unorthodox shit, and it's like you can't play. That's why Nick Bosa was on the island, lost. Like, what he bit. What are you gonna do, bro? I mean, the thing about here's what I noticed too, and I was talking to somebody about it last night. Is there's the argument that is Mahomes a dual threat quarterback? I mean, what more do you need to see? He may not have the same dynamics as Lamar Jackson or be, things like that. He is a fucking dual threat quarterback. He is fast as shit for his size. Okay. He is smart when he runs the ball. All right. You are not his line went from when he first got to the league, if I'm not mistaken. I remember I used to look at his line for rushing yards. It'd be like, maybe 15 and a half, whatever. His line's like 35, 40 some games. Like, he's a rusher. He's a running quarterback. And he may not have had the greatest game of all time through the air, but you add in those 70 yards of rushing on the ground and you watch what happens. It's like, bro, like you said it best. You're like, you left the door open. That's what you can't do against great teams. Like, you cannot do that. It'll never work because then you're relying on guys with not only experience, but also the world-class talent to go out there and execute. They're going to execute. They're going to execute every time. They just are. So, I mean, that's why I was curious about, if you guys felt cheated or not, because I saw a bunch of stuff and people posting like, you felt cheated. You let one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen with our own eyes have the ball a lot of time.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have been up like 24-7 into
that. Yeah, and that's true. But at the same time, you also have to think about the fact that these guys, like, even though they're professionals, dude, nerves are gonna kick in, man. Brock Purdy's not gonna play the same way in Super Bowl that he's gonna play that he played in Week 10. Okay, McCaffrey first time being there, he didn't play bad, but even the fumble, he never fumbles. Guess what?
Ever.
That's what happens when you're on the big stage. The better and more poised team in any sport will always prevail in that. You have to play damn near perfect. The Philadelphia Eagles played phenomenal last year in the Super Bowl, and we had 1 or 2 hiccups, and that was it. That's all it took. 1 or 2 hiccups. The Jalen Hurts fumble, we bounced back, we score, we're leading at half. We did all the right things, and it didn't matter because in the punt return, that's it.
The field
poised. Yeah, well, whatever. Anyways, shut up.
Well, I mean, no, Kaz, look at the comment displayed on the screen. I assume that's one of your boys, Salvador Gonzalez, who says, at least y'all played.
He's an Eagles fan,
though. Okay, so gotcha. So he is an Eagles fan. It makes sense because Salvador Gonzalez says, at least y'all played on a better field, LMAO.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta let it go, bro. It's been 2 years now.
Well, he did say preach, Kaz. So there you go.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean. Go ahead. I know you've been wanting to get your piece out, but I just had to say that about Andy Reid. I feel like Andy Reid was not to get no respect. He wouldn't get no clout. So I'm like, man, come on, Big Red. Give Big Red the clouts, dog. He was out there and he led that team, and Mahomes did what he needed to do, and Kelsey stepped up, even though he didn't get in the end zone and ruined all my bets. Let's not talk about the fact that Kelsey couldn't score a damn touchdown. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure no one else wanted to jump in real quickly because I got a lot to say. But, before I get to that, I just wanted to get to a couple of comments starting out here on YouTube. Uncle Manny says, of the Chiefs teams, this was probably the worst. Teams keep taking players each year. And Uncle Manny, that's what makes this the best win by the Chiefs of their 3 Super Bowls that they've won in the Patrick Mahomes era. It also makes it the most impressive, the fact that they were able to lose to the Broncos, lose to the Raiders, and still go on to win a championship.
We should have called AP for defensive scheme strategy because
I guess so.
They went into Arrowhead and beat a team. They beat the Chiefs with their quarterback throwing for under 80 yards.
Yeah. Crazy.
I know the funniest comment, one of the funny comments I did see from Raiders fan real quick, Sean, before you say anything, was like, they were like, he was a Raiders fan. He was like, he was a Niner fan. He was like, y'all let the guys who practice and whoop y'all ass in the field all the time get a chance to whoop the Niners ass now. Y'all been practicing whooping their ass in the dome, whatever. That was so weak. I was like, man, even the Raider fans are getting it.
Yeah, and so Uncle Manny, that's probably what hurts the most. And Salvador Gonzalez says Mahomes is just that good. The Niners played a good game. I agree with that as well. I mean, he's the best player in the NFL, and he arguably could retire as the greatest football player of all time. But that honor still belongs.
Is he better than Aaron Rodgers?
Tom Brady, yeah, yes, he is. Yeah, definitely.
Talent-wise,
and on
winning
on Instagram, our girl Toddy's mom, Tracy at Dat Niner Chick, says, devastated. This one hurts to the core, and I feel that to my core, T.
Sorry,
and
Mama.
Now, just finally, I left these comments here for a reason. I will now respond to them and then go into my diatribe. As Khalil says, was Cam right? Fuck no, he wasn't right. He's just a hater. And he says, Sean, you okay, dog? Looking stressed. No, Khalil, I'm not okay. I'm quite sad, actually. But I'm here. I'm here to take my L and to grieve here with our audience on Stats Over Politics, live on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and simulcasting on Kazzy Bear TV on Twitch. Yeah, this is my therapy session right now. So let's just get right into it. As we know, the 49ers lost to the Chiefs 25-22 in overtime. It was the most watched Super Bowl ever, with 123.4 million average viewers. Thank you, Taylor Swift. Mahomes is the 5th starting quarterback all time to win 3 Super Bowls, along with Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman. The Chiefs are the 4th different team to win 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year span. As Jaevon mentioned earlier, the 49ers have already opened up as favorites to win the Super Bowl in 2025, as the 49ers have plus 550 odds. That means if you bet 100, you could win $550. The Chiefs are second at plus 650. Baltimore is at plus 900. Buffalo's plus 950. Cincinnati and Detroit are plus 1,200. Kevin's Eagles and Kaz's Eagles are plus 2,000. And Gary's Steelers could win you $7,500.
Got rid of Mitch.
$100 bet.
The odds dropped.
Got rid of Mitch, so I guess it is. Yeah, he got rid of Mitch, so I guess those odds should go up a little bit.
There you go.
And Rob says, Sean, I've gone easy on you, buddy. I feel bad that you've had to watch your team lose 3 Super Bowls. I appreciate it, Rob, because it really has been hard. Like, I was talking to an Eagles fan yesterday at the Super Bowl party that I attended, and he was a man in about his 50s. And I was saying, like, I explained to him how I was born in 1998, haven't seen my team actually win one, only 2, now 3 Super Bowl losses, like 3 NFC championship losses. And I said to him, I just want to see my team win one. Like, we can finish with 6 by the time that I'm dead. I just want to see us win one in my entire lifetime. And he explained to me, and Kaz, you could probably relate to this. I know that you're in your late 20s, early 30s, but this guy was in his 50s, and he said, I had to wait 50 plus years to watch my team win a Super Bowl. And Kaz, I know you had to wait all of your life until 2017 to see the Eagles do it. And so that's what I'm still struggling with. It's what Jaevon is still struggling with. And, Rob is a Cowboys fan, and he will be the first person to tell me anytime I try to talk mess about the Cowboys, he will immediately respond and say, we have a Super Bowl more recently than you do, Cowboys fans do. By 1 year, they have a Super Bowl more recently.
Sad.
It was like
it's very sad. It's very sad considering the fact that the 49ers have played in like 8, 9 NFC championship games since they last won a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have played in 0 NFC championship games since the last time they won a Super Bowl. So it's tough. And Rob says, I can't even imagine, bro. I'd probably stop watching football. Not really. Yeah, it's tough. And yes, Rob constantly clowns me all the time. But my guy Rakeem, shout out to Rakeem. He says, let it out, Sean. Rakeem is another Eagles fan. So he was trolling.
Eagles? That's crazy.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he was trolling. He was trolling us hard on Instagram last night.
Karan was trolling me as well.
Yeah, and Khalil says, I got lucky seeing my dogs win one. And so Patrick Mahomes may already be better than Aaron Rodgers, but at least Khalil has seen his team win one. Rob says, love you, buddy. Haha, I appreciate it. I love you too, Rob. Anyways, now moving on, guys, as I mentioned all of those factoids, I just wanted to close by saying this. There were 4 game-changing plays, in my opinion, in this game. Number 1 was Dre Greenlaw rupturing his Achilles, because I kept saying going into this game, the biggest difference between 2020 and 2024 in this matchup is the fact that the 49ers don't have to guard Tyreek Hill. They didn't have to worry about that threat. Gary was saying that he could have been MVP this year. The fact that Tyreek Hill stayed in Miami, the Super Bowl last time was played in Miami. Tyreek Hill is now a resident of Miami. The fact that he wasn't in this game and that Travis Kelce was the main primary target that the 49ers had to worry about, I thought that with the linebacker duo of Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, arguably the best in the NFL, I thought that the 49ers would lock down Travis Kelce, or at least the best that they could. They could manage him. And that's exactly what they did in the first half, because in that first half, Travis Kelce was held to 1 target for 1 reception and 1 yard. Second half in overtime, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 92 receiving yards. Sorry, Kaz, he didn't get the touchdown for your bet, but that's still pretty damn good. He had so Travis Kelce had a 134.7 passer rating when targeted. That's what Mahomes had when throwing to Travis Kelce, and it also had a 32.1 Pro Football Focus coverage grade. So Travis Kelce went nuts after Dre Greenlaw got hurt. And my heart hurts for Dre. And after the game, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa were saying, you guys don't know what Dre has fought through. Like, he's been dealing with an Achilles injury for months, but he was playing through it. He didn't tear the damn thing, but he played all the way until he did. And for it to happen, not even in a live play, and just have him jubilantly running onto the field because he's playing in the Super Bowl and his team's playing really well. And to see him hurt his Achilles the way he did, have to be carted out of there, my heart absolutely broke for Dre. And I just want to reemphasize what T said, because it was devastating seeing what happened to Dre Greenlaw. And then after that, we saw the results with Travis Kelce, another T, going off on the 49ers. The punt bouncing off of, it was number 28. Last name starts with an L. Was it Chris Conley? I thought it was number 28 because Conley's 84, but maybe someone can fact check that for me while I'm on my tangent here. But I'm pretty sure it was number 28. Last name starts with an L. Can't remember what his actual name is, but that's why Ray McCloud tried to pick up the ball. Ray McCloud, he had the foresight, whatever the word is, to see that the ball hit his teammate's heel and that he needed to jump on the ball and couldn't just let it go. But his mistake was trying to pick it up and run rather than diving on it and keeping the possession. When that play happened, I really started to have doubts because you need breaks like that. And when that play happened, I started to feel like, you know what? Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe the 49ers winning this Super Bowl isn't meant to be because you need those breaks. When Mahomes threw the interception, I had hope. When the 49ers got, the holding call in overtime, I thought I had hope. But plays like that where the ball grazes a defender's ankle and then you have a turnover because of it, then they immediately score a touchdown the following play. Those are backbreakers. Jake Moody, I will hate on him as a Michigan man, but he played excellent in this game. 2 50-plus yard field goals. He set the record at 55 yards, and then Harrison Butker broke it at 57 yards. Jake Moody did his job. He did his job. He got it. He got an extra point blocked, but in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I don't blame the kicker when a kick is blocked. I blame the offensive line. I blame everyone else because the kicker did. Maybe he could have kicked it quicker. Who knows? But I kind of blame the offensive line there, Gary. You look like you disagree. Kaz says
sorry. What's his name? My bad. Sherman said that he kicked off a side's foot and he kicked it low. That's what he said. I'm not sure. I'd love to look at it again. I didn't really look at his
Feely said he fucked it up too.
I was gonna say more often than not. I mean, that's such a precise thing to really try to say. Well, the kicker didn't kick it in the right position. I mean,
he didn't kick it.
It's a game of angles. When kickers are practicing, how to kick field goals from any which way, they're not thinking, okay, I need to hit it at this point of the ball to get it. They are, but it's not to like such an
extra point, y'all.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a kick, man. It's like why are guys even there? Why are guys even there? You know what I mean? Why are they back there? I agree with you, Shaun, on that one.
Thank you. And so that was the third biggest game-changing play to me, and I can't even blame Jake Moody for it. To me, he played really well in this game, and Juwan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, those are the only two players that I would put ahead of Jake Moody as far as Super Bowl MVP conversation if the 49ers were to win that game. Because Juwan Jennings was the only other player, he was the second player to throw a touchdown and catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Everyone knows who the other one was, Mr. Philly Special, Nick Foles. And so Juwan Jennings, he was definitely at number one. But Christian McCaffrey with over 150 scrimmage yards.
They gave him a statue.
I think he was definitely a candidate. Yeah, they did give him a statue. But anyways, my point is that Jake Moody played well in this game. He did his job, in my opinion. But that was ultimately the difference that allowed the Chiefs to kick a field goal at the end of regulation and send it to overtime rather than having to go for the game-winning touchdown. Who knows? The Chiefs could have scored a touchdown there, and then they win the Super Bowl in regulation because they were forced to go for a touchdown with 6 seconds left rather than kicking a field goal. But that blocked extra point is what led to overtime being possible. And the 49ers taking the ball in overtime after winning the toss. That was the biggest glaring mistake, in my opinion, because as I went off about earlier, the fact that they changed these overtime rules, and the NFL is usually pretty good, at least before the season starts, they inform every single team. They have an official come in, they explain the new rules, the changes, and everything. And so the fact that everyone on the Kansas City sideline seemed to know about this new double overtime rule, what to do, but the fact that two of the 49ers' smartest players, being Kyle Juszczyk and Eric Armstead, even admitted after the game in their post-game media that they didn't talk about that at all. They didn't know about it at all. And so when Kyle had Kyle Shanahan receive the ball when they won the toss, tails never fails. But for them to receive the ball first with these new overtime rules, knowing that regardless of if you score a touchdown, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the ball. That was a huge mistake to me because, like I said earlier, then you know that you need to go for it on fourth down if they score a touchdown first. And that way they can't beat you and walk off with the win like they did. And so those were the four biggest game-changing plays to me. And it was just hard, man, because as I've talked about nonstop, like as a 25-year-old who's never seen his team actually win a Super Bowl, I only hear about Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, Steve Young, and all the great times of the past that preceded me by 3 years. The last one happened 3 years before I was born. And so it's been tough as a 49ers fan because I could be like Rob and I could be a Cowboys fan that just sees my team get eliminated in the wild card round or the divisional round every time they make the playoffs. So then the playoff run isn't prolonged, and then the hurt isn't more. But as 49ers fans, we've seen our team make the Super Bowl 3 times now in the last 10 years, 12 years, or 11 years. But regardless, it's just really hard. And I'll just close by saying that I feel extremely bad for the 9 players that were a part of the 2020 team as well, with Kyle Juszczyk, who, despite losing a Super Bowl, apparently didn't know about the new overtime rule. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Eric Armstead, another guy, lost the Super Bowl, didn't think about learning about the new double overtime. Kevin Givens, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Mitch Wishnowsky. I feel bad for those guys primarily, and Coach Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle Shanahan has gotten an awful rap when it comes to his coaching in a Super Bowl. I honestly,
I'm
besides,
glad that you mentioned Kyle Shanahan.
Go ahead,
John.
Please go ahead.
Andy Reid. Let's take it back a little bit. Through 2001 to 2004, so it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year span, basically. NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, Super Bowl loss. Kyle Shanahan, 2019 to 2023, Super Bowl loss, NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, Super Bowl loss. Took Andy Reid about another 15 years before Patrick Mahomes fell to him at number 10, whatever draft it was, and they just started rattling off Super Bowls. So, I mean, Kyle Shanahan's legacy is far from written. Let's just say that. A lot of people are going to say, oh, he choked in the Atlanta Super Bowl. He wasn't head coach, he was offensive coordinator.
Blame Dan Quinn, the new Redskins coach. Excuse me, Commanders. Sorry.
He's been horrible on third down, though, in the Super Bowls. There's like a stat. I see a crazy one line. Just FYI.
There's a stat saying that he's bad from coming back from games. There's a bad stat that he's coming back with third down.
He's getting in there. He's a great coach, man. He's top 5 for sure. I don't think this falls on the coach now. Who does it fall on then, guys? Who does it fall on? Mr. Purdy? We haven't talked too much about Mr. Purdy. What happened to all the Brock Purdy?
Purdy played good enough to win. We just didn't execute.
He played solid, but he shouldn't have played great if you wanted to beat Patrick Mahomes. So I don't want to get on the guy. He played solid. I think I mentioned
Josh Allen couldn't beat Mahomes.
No, exactly. I'm not gonna lie. And he played low-key better than those guys too when he played the same very team. So I'll give Brock Purdy credit. He's in his second year. Doesn't mean he can't be great one day.
I'll say that.
He could be top 10. I think I rattled off my segment last time. But again, when we go down the list, he's very at the bottom just because the AFC is crowded in the top. So NFC wise, yeah, he. You know what? I feel like my take was a little strong on him a little last week. I feel like I was a little too harsh on him. The guy is only on his second year. He played solid yesterday. There's 2 plays, one to Deebo that was overthrown, and there's also one to Ayuk. But you can see, but you can read his mouth. He was like, he should have been there. Well, you should hang in the pocket a little longer. I know you would have got smacked by Jones, but you should hang a little longer and would have made that throw 1 or 2 plays. And you got to be great when you're facing greatness. And he wasn't great, but he was solid. Can't hate on that man too much. Got to give him credit where credit was due. But, just wasn't good enough. And real quick before we know, I know we're going to probably head in a different direction, but real quick, can we stop hating on Love now? All y'all fans that are hating on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, that shit has been getting so annoying. It's actually people have been saying they've been annoyed by them, like, that they keep showing them. But y'all really are just annoying. Go ahead. I'm happy.
I put it on the graph. I put it on the graphic.
Thank you, Sean, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if you two were the Niner fans that were hating on them or something like that. But I've been hearing a whole lot of fans all of a sudden about, because Sean, thank you don't hate on Love. I'm pretty sure Vaughn wasn't hating it. I don't know if Kaz was hating it or not.
Gary, 123 million viewers. That was the average.
I was hearing Niner fans pissed at Kelce just because he bagged one of the richest, beautiful girls in his eyes in the world. What is wrong with that? I don't understand what it was whole like, they're ruining football. What, now your daughters who love this girl are actually interested in watching with you? Like, I just don't understand the whole hatred toward them just because they keep showing them they want to watch football. Like, the whole narrative of them just hating on those two really annoyed me. It's like, bro, why are y'all just so negative? Let them enjoy that thing. You're the ones who guys are bringing them into the spotlight. And yeah, the NFL, you think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are telling the cameras of NFL to point the camera at me, or you think they're doing it themselves? They're doing it themselves because they want to make money. Because like Sean said, they knew more eyes were going to come. So at the end of the day, I don't know why we hating on and Love straight up. And I don't know. Fight Boys is what, top 10? Stop drinking, bro. Yeah, I don't know. We could go through the top 10. Purdy's barely making it, my boy. Barely making it. But
Toddy,
he's
did
making
you
it.
want to
I just
respond?
can't hang on
He
the
went to a
phone.
Super Bowl in his second year. He's not top 10. You're freaking smoking. That's what.
I remember when I made that same case for Jalen Hurts last year, and I was told I was stupid because he is a running back playing quarterback. And I'm like, bro, he just had a great performance in the Super Bowl last year. Like, not even with his legs, through the air. I mean, he rushed for what, 3 touchdowns, I think it was. I think he had 4 total touchdowns for the Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. But regardless, it ain't like he ran for 150 yards in 3 touchdowns. It's like the whole brotherly shove shit and the fucking, on the goal line. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying?
There. That's TikTok clip. Is Brock Purdy quarterback? Clip it.
No, just because you make the Super Bowl does not make you automatically top 10. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's not top 10, but if we can go on a list of quarterbacks that you guys were saying Jimmy G was top 10. Don't look good now. Were you saying
I never said Jimmy
Nick
G.
Foles was top 10? Now looking not good.
I never said that either. I never said that.
I'm just saying though, but Von just said you make the Super Bowl, you're automatically top 10 in this.
NFC
Nah, that ain't always the
and
case.
then Super Bowl. First 2 years.
Yeah, I just named you 2-3 guys who have made big runs.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
I think you have an argument for it, but I mean, it ain't just automatic. No.
It ain't just automatic now. That's because you did something. Just because you went somewhere. Because then you should have been great and won this game right here. Now, if you would have won this game, I would have said no. All credit to him. All credit to him. All credit to him. Because he would have put the numbers up and everything, which would have knocked him down. What could you knock about him? He won in his second year. What can you knock about him? So he was close, and I feel like people are arguing on him too much, which is crazy though. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's just because he's on his great team that he's actually getting this hate. Because realistically, we already know the story. Mr. Irrelevant. I'm surprised this wasn't the biggest story of NFL. It really is shocking that the guy who's last pick, had a roommate in the beginning of the year, and is now in the
Still
Super
has
Bowl.
that same roommate.
Exactly. So that's just pretty mean. So you know what? I kind of want to switch the narrative a little bit on him. To say that, he had a great solid year and he deserves some credit. But I think it's fans like Von here who are saying maybe top 5, maybe even I know you're itching to maybe say top 5. That makes everyone want to hate the man.
I say it's top 10 though.
All right, I'm making sure here. We don't want to go over the ledge here. I'm waiting for one of our guys commenting here. Go ahead, drop a top 10 list. Go ahead. Y'all might as well since y'all saying fuck no.
I don't know. After this season, it'd take a while to get a top 10 list because you really got to think about some of these quarterbacks this year look real strange. And some quarterbacks looked phenomenal that nobody expected. So I think right now a top 10 list would be somebody I need to sit down and really think about that. It is a lot. Hey, it is a lot. Yeah. Hey, he wilding. He gotta be a Cowboys fan.
He is definitely a certified Cowboys fan.
Look, first off, get Kobe out the back of your background, bro, because you saying some crazy shit right now, man. That's disrespect, bro. Talking about hurts a bum. Come on now, bro. 1 year, good. Come on, bro. Listen, I'm not gonna get a hurt. I'm not. Shut up. Okay, you guys just lost. I'm not gonna get. No, because y'all been wilding out for fucking 17 weeks. More than 20 weeks. All right, y'all been.
No, we've been wild out. We have been wilding out since the Eagles game. Let's
listen.
Y'all both lost to the GOAT.
Too much. Did y'all see Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, he went crazy. Good. What?
He was ready. He was ready.
There's a reason why Cox put that shit out there because it's y'all was acting like I told you before, Toddy. Y'all was acting like just the hottest thing since shoestrings. Just we the Niners. We gonna win the Super Bowl. It ain't nothing to us. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who did you?
We're the team that beat you guys 40.
Yeah, that's fine, and that was your Super Bowl. Congratulations.
You know what I mean? Look, screenshots of Debo always on the bench, with his head down every single time.
Man, he couldn't wait to kick us while we were.
I was like, I remember saying,
Raider fans. I
have multiple tweets where I said, first off, the Ravens and the Niners, they're both not making the Super Bowl, and I also have tweets saying that neither of those teams are going to win.
You were wrong then.
No,
you said I Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl?
I said they both won't make it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said because there was that Niners, right? Like, no.
Yeah, they were talking about the graphic. Yeah, I know that whole conspiracy. Yeah,
I was like, that's not going to happen. And then I said, on top of that, whichever one does make it, if one of them does, they're not even going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm just like,
well, I said we watched Super Bowl last week, so
I had a lot of my Ravens homies. So they weren't as bad as y'all. Y'all acted like I don't know what was y'all this year was like. Y'all acting so. No, the Niners. I don't know about where y'all from. The Niners fans right here acting so bougie. I'm like, it ain't even a playoff yet. You know the playoffs is a different beast. Be happy you winning. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Talk a little shit. But y'all like, you won the Super Bowl this year. It ain't nothing to us. Come on, dog. Come on. Who says that week 11? Week 12? Y'all was wilding out, bro, around here. That's all I got to say, man.
Getting to the Super Bowl was nothing because we've done it 3 times now in an 11-year span. The problem, Kaz, is winning the Super Bowl. And that's why I said, like, with 3 weeks to go in the regular season, I said the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. I did think that they would coast through the NFC playoffs. I was wrong about that. But I thought the adversity that they faced was going to make them battle-tested and ready for the Super Bowl. But apparently they didn't study the overtime rules, and they didn't put themselves in position to win. So there you go.
All right,
go ahead.
That's the reason.
According to me, Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback. This is
yeah. Toddy did say
summer.
Like before the college season even started, Toddy said that Caleb Williams would be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm like, damn.
Mr. Rob, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Cowboys fan cannot speak a peep today. I don't know what y'all talking. Y'all always got y'all shit trampled.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Eagles or a Cowboy, diehard Cowboy fan.
He said, "Kaz talking way too much for a dude whose team quit November. Quit?
Y'all did kind of quit.
I don't know about quit.
Y'all lost to Mayfield.
This is terrible.
Flacco.
Flight Boys. I think Flight Boys is Evan, but Evan's Flight Boys top 10 list is Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Jared Goff.
Get Joe Burrow the fuck out of here too.
Okay. Jalen Hurts. Okay. Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Joe Flacco. Jared Goff. What are we doing? Joe Flacco.
Shit, what up,
come on.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
Man.
Bro.
That is a
Baker Mayfield. That's who ended the Eagles season. Let's not forget.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's Rob
let
said
Retro Rob have his moment. Let Retro Rob have his moment, man. Listen,
hey,
to do the Cowboys this year, man, I'm all right with this looking like trash.
Some people say
on November, December. I'm okay with that.
Belts on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and as Rakeem says, Rakeem is an Eagles fan, Kaz, so he got your back. He says the Packers put belt ass on the Cowboys in Jerry World.
In Jerry World, y'all ain't lost there for like a whole season.
They put up 40.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. That should have been 40-7.
There were 7.5.
It allowed y'all to come back in that game.
Like one thing, of the worst losses like ever, because they're like there hasn't been like when they're highly favored like that. Usually the favorites win. I don't know if they cover, but they don't lose outright.
Yeah, the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
When you're like a 7.5 point favorite, like the Eagles, I get they were they're favored in that game, but they're only a 3 point favorite in that game, 2.5 point favorite. Yeah. So the Vegas kind of sensed that they were like they're kind of falling off a little bit. So.
The Cowboys are the Cowboys, man. They can't handle the pressure in the playoffs. It's just that simple. It's not even they can have literally they can have a Pro Bowl team. Take all the NFC Pro Bowlers and put them on the Cowboys. They will lose in the playoffs because it is an embarrassment to wear that star. The players even know it. That's how bad and just disgusting that organization is. The players show up, they have a super team. They're leading the league in offense for like multiple years straight in the past like 7 years. Phenomenal running backs. Dak Prescott balling out. They get to the playoffs every time and they choke. A Cowboys fan can't say nothing to me, bro. For 30 years, I gotta see it.
Micah said, "Damn," he said, "DQ, come get me."
Well, before we move on here on episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, Sean Holko alongside Jaevon, Toddy, Gary Singh, and Kaz Johnson of Kazzy Bear TV. Before we move on, guys, I did want to highlight one Instagram comment that related to Gary. And while we're in between topics here, we got 2 more quick segments that are related to the Super Bowl and the NFL this season. But before we get there, on Instagram, @official J Smalls says Kirk would be raw on the Steelers. Gary, what's your thoughts on Kirk Cousins on the Steelers?
Jay right there. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I feel bad for my homie Jay. He's a fellow Niner fan like you guys. He is very hurting today, and he's actually one of the Niner fans I actually love because he actually is one of the very few that don't talk that much shit and really just loves. He just don't want to talk no shit. He don't even want to talk shit about other teams. He just really just loves his team. That's it. So I feel bad for my guy today. I wish I knocked on his door for some money though. He's lucky. Actually, he had a group chat with all these Niner fans who I work with. None of them wanted to smoke, y'all. Yvonne and Shaun, y'all really represented it because I asked any takers. I asked a lot of people. You guys were
thanks for taking my money, Gary. Thank you.
I was throwing 50s everywhere. I got like 4 or 5 people. I was like, you want to bet 50? You want to bet 50? You want to bet 50?
Gary had time yesterday.
I did right before an hour before the show, right before this thing was cooking. But to answer Jay's question,
y'all might win the division.
Hey man, we almost won the division. Man, all I know is my Steelers got a long way to go in terms until next year, so we got a lot of moves to make. I'm not sure if Kenny Pickett is the guy, but Kirk Cousins, if Russell Wilson, anyone want to come on a cheap deal for us?
That's your problem. Y'all want to get somebody cheap. Y'all gotta go.
We're gonna have to get somebody cheap because most likely we wouldn't that I know I ain't gonna lie. I feel like we got y'all know we have a lot of pieces on our team defensively that are ready when we talked about them when they got their season ended by the Bills earlier in this playoff run.
Y'all got $100 million for Kirk.
I ain't gonna lie to you, there's a lot of options for us right now in terms of we got a Super Bowl ready team. I fully feel like that. We got a Super Bowl ready team. We just gotta work quarterback away. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you though. Our already said we're rocking with Kenny Pickett, so we're not that type of we ain't that type of guys. I guess we're what we call loyal to the soil. So
stupid. Loyal to the stupid.
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's hurting us right now, guys. But we ain't see. But the one thing I do love about that is we don't go low. We don't go low as these Cowboys fans do. You don't see us in the dirt and having a heart taken and things of that nature. We usually overachieve our expectations. You feel me? We overachieve. It's all about expectations, Kaz, when you come into the year. You know what I'm saying? If your expectation to win the bowl is different from a team trying to win the playoffs or win the division or getting a wild card, it's all about expectations. That's why these two guys that are right here are in pain because expectations was to win the bowl. You feel me? Yeah. Kaz was a little bit probably heartbroken. They was expected to win the bowl. My team was expected to be 8-8 and make the playoffs, which we did. So I'm kind of happy going into next year. So we all good.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, Cowboys fans, they can't say nothing to you, me, Toddy, Shaun, they can't say nothing, bro. So just let them talk, man. I see him in the comments over there. I seen it.
Look,
he went crazy.
I love Jesse, huh?
Hey, you know I read that.
Happened yesterday.
Hey, listen, how I read that. I read that. Eagles fans are the worst people alive. That's how I read that. You can't take these jokes for serious, bro. Come on, man. Get to an NC championship game now.
We got a lot of Cowboys fans.
This ain't a Cowboys Eagles.
Oh yeah, Gary, this is the Cowboys Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl because they might have beaten the Eagles this season. They couldn't beat the 49ers, and so the Cowboys didn't really have a signature win from this past season. Hey, they got Mike Zimmer and his red face, as was said in one of my.
Hey, Dak had a good season. He was like what, like third in line for MVP.
MVP.
He was mentioned.
Yeah, he was a favorite.
God.
Well, as we continue here on episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, make sure to give us a like on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And if you enjoy the show, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on X at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. If you're enjoying the show, give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it, as you guys are currently tuned into episode 81 of Stats Over Politics with Jaevon Toddy, Gary Singh, and Kaz Johnson. Also, shout out to our guy Kevin Dent and his wife Alyssa, whose birthday is today. Kaz, real quickly, before we get to our next segment, I just wanted to ask if you want to shout out where people can find you. I know we do this at the end too, but while we're live right now, let's hear it.
So it's Kazzy Bear TV on all socials. YouTube. I do NFL weekly predictions. I go to quite a few games a year, so I do tailgate videos and whatnot. So Kazzy Bear TV on YouTube. I am currently live on Twitch right now, actually as well, and doing a lot of Twitch streaming lately, and obviously on X or it's Twitter. Okay, Twitter. Yeah, right. But if you are someone who is into fitness, I always plug my fitness Instagram. It's SSJ Kazzy Bear.
Big body.
That is my. Thank you. That is my main channel. That's where I do my business. So yeah, Kazzy Bear TV on everything else, and SSJ Kazzy Bear on Instagram for fitness stuff. So yeah,
or just search up Coin Flip and help out, bud. Oh my God, the pop quiz, it's back.
First episode. It's been a long. I didn't hear what you just said, but yeah, after 30 long episodes, we are back with Shaun's Pop Quiz. We haven't had a Shaun's Pop Quiz since episode 51, which was the first Shaun's Pop Quiz of season 2. Our guy Kevin Dent is the reigning champion of Shaun's Pop Quiz, unable to be here to defend his title, but the show must go on. And Kaz, you are such a frequent guest that I'm going to start keeping track of your own total as well. So, Jaevon and Garry, if Kaz beats you guys after coming on like once every 10 shows, then I don't know what to tell you. But Shaun's Pop Quiz is back here on episode number 81. So, gentlemen, let's get right to it, because since 1970, oh, hold on. Before we get to the questions, I will just say real quickly that now going forward in season 2 of Shaun's Pop Quiz, you have the chance to earn multiple points per question, because at least this week there are multiple answers to each question, so you can pick up 1 to 3 points, or even 3. We got 3 answers.
Hand raised. What are we doing?
We're still going turn by turn, Garry, but then after that, it's a free-for-all. So this week we have 3 questions, 3 answers for each question. So here's the first one, and Kaz, as our guest, I'll throw it to you first. So how this will work is Kaz will get priority to try and name all 3 answers. If he gets one, he gets a point, and then we'll pass it off for a free-for-all. So the first question is, since 1970, 3 starting quarterbacks have gone to at least 5 straight conference championship games. Who are they?
Oh, that's a tough one.
So, Kaz, I'll give you about 15 to 20 seconds to think about your answers. Toddy, I see you for going second, but I'll read the question one more time, and there are 3 answers. So, since 1970, 3 starting quarterbacks have gone to at least 5 straight conference championship games. Who are they? So, Kaz, do you have a guess of who the 3 could be? And each individual answer is a point.
Patrick Mahomes.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
Let's go. Joe Montana. Troy Aikman.
Nope. That is not correct. So you got Patrick Mahomes. That's 1. Joe Montana is incorrect. And your other guess was Troy Aikman. I almost said an answer. But yeah, so Joe Montana and Troy Aikman are incorrect. Patrick Mahomes is correct, as Patrick Mahomes he's on the active streak right now. He's been to 6 in a row from 2018 to 2023. So there are 2 remaining answers. Toddy, you put your finger up first. And guys, I'm switching back and forth between the screens. So going forward, rather than the finger, we'll just have your voice just say dibs or whatever, because I'm switching between my screens and I don't want to make sure to miss someone. Exactly. And Garry implied earlier that I might have missed him. So Toddy, you're second. There are 2 remaining names. The question is, since 1973, starting quarterbacks have gone to at least 5 straight conference championship games. Who are they? One of them is Patrick Mahomes. There are 2 remaining.
So my 2 guesses are Tom Brady and Jim Kelly.
Damn.
Ding, ding, ding. Tom Brady is correct. He did it 8 times from 2011 to 2018, but Jim Kelly is incorrect. So, Toddy, you get a point. Garry, you have a chance to get the remaining answer. And to be honest, this one's kind of a tough one, so I don't think any of you guys are going to get this one.
That one
Since 1970,
my out of the box one.
Probably early 90s.
It was old college guess, Toddy. Yes, that is correct. And I will say that this guy did it in the 70s. And you know what? That is incorrect. So I'll give 1 more hint. If none of you guys can get it off of this hint, then we'll move on. Got another guess? It's a free-for-all now.
The Denver's quarterback. I
don't know. I was gonna say Starbuck, but that's not even the 70s. I don't think.
Not Dan Marino.
I already said that.
Damn it!
All of those names are incorrect.
Go ahead.
So the final hint, I
John Elway.
no, that's 60s
Nah,
right there.
70s.
John Elway did not play in the 70s.
I forgot the 70s part. My bad.
So the first hint is that this player did it in the 70s. The second hint is that he did it for the Raiders.
Kenny Stabler?
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
Okay,
Kenny Stabler.
No clue.
There you go, Toddy. So
Damn.
Toddy gets 2 points on the first question. So
Bing.
Sean's Pop Quiz Season 2. Right now, Toddy has 2. Kaz has 1. Gary has
That's the only
0.
one.
guys.
I like this. All right, you caught me off guard. I like this. That's
The
cool
pop quiz
shit.
gets you really off guard, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm first. I'm like,
Feel
fuck. I'm
stupid,
like,
but it's all
How many
good.
titles does Kenny Stabler have? He has like 2? What?
Ken Stabler, let me check that real quick. I made sure to have another note open to keep score. Ken Stabler did it 5 times from 1973 to 1977. So there you go.
How many Super
Raiders
Bowls
were
does he have?
popping.
Does he only
I
have
thought
one?
Tom Brady was a trick one. I was like, I'm gonna say Brady. He's probably only been to 2 every 2 years, something like that. But I was like,
I was
man,
like,
You
I could be
overthought
gonna
it.
say Brady.
You overthought it.
yeah, I overthought
Run in
it.
your face.
Yeah.
All right, so now moving on to the next question. This one will go to Gary, who I believe was in 3rd place for our first
Last.
season of Sean's Pop Quiz. But
Multiple
if you ask
DVDs.
Gary, he'll say, yeah, exactly. There he said it for me. And so, by the way, I will say now going forward, Sean's Pop Quiz will still just pop up. I won't give you guys notice, but I will only do Sean's Pop Quiz when we have at least Gary and Toddy here. So, Kaz, if you're able to join us for a Sean's Pop Quiz as well, that's when you can pick up points. But if it's a Shaun and Gary show or a Shaun and Jaevon show, no Sean's Pop Quiz. Just laying that out right now. All right, next question. Here it is. And this is for Gary first. 3 duos have at least 12 playoff touchdowns together in NFL history. Who are they? And I'll read. Toddy, I see you to go next. So,
quick.
Gary, you have dibs on this, and there are 3 answers to this. 3 duos have
Brady
at least
Gronk?
12 playoff touchdowns together in NFL history. Who are they? You guessed Rob
Brady Gronk?
Gronkowski and Thomas Brady.
Mahomes,
That is-
Kelsey,
Those 2 are both correct. Mahomes and Kelsey
Montana, Rice.
have the most. And Montana and Rice, that is correct. So
Ding.
Gary just named all 3. In the first round, and look at that. Just like that, Gary went from last to first with 3 points there. Now, in the last round, I named how many times each guy did it, and I named when it happened. Bonus question for this round is, Gary, I'll give you dibs first. Can you name how many touchdowns each duo has? So I said that they at least have 12 each. So let me know what number touchdowns.
Oh, that number just got passed. I know that for Kelsey. What I think like 26, 25 was it? And then I would say we're all on the same, like 24, 25, 26, I bet. They're all around the same.
That is incorrect. Toddy, do you have a guess on the precise numbers?
Is it like 12, 14, and 16?
Who's 12?
12
They
is
held that record, to be honest.
Rice and Montana.
That is correct. So Toddy gets a point there. Your other 2 answers are incorrect, Jaevon.
Damn it!
Kaz, so Montana and Rice have 12. Kaz, do you know how many Mahomes and Kelsey or Brady and Gronk have combined for? They have at least 12.
Brady and Gronk, 16, and Mahomes and Kelsey, 17.
You got Mahomes and Kelsey have 17. They just got to 17 in the AFC Championship game,
16 then.
but they broke Brady and Gronk's record during this playoff run, not
15.
in the AFC Championship game, but it's 15 for
15.
Tom Brady and Rob
Fuck.
Gronkowski. So there you go. You were close. But hey, after 2 questions of Sean's Pop Quiz, Toddy and Gary have 3. Kaz has 2. So we got a heated race going into the last question, which Toddy has first dibs on. This last question of Sean's Pop Quiz for this week is, since 1950, there have been 3 rookie quarterback head coach combos to win a playoff game. Who are they? And I'll read it one more time. Since 1950, there have been 3 rookie quarterback and head coach combos, meaning the quarterback's a rookie and so is the head coach, that have won a playoff game. Who are they? So, Gary, you're going second. Toddy, this is your question, though. So, you have 3 answers to this question. Toddy, who's your guesses?
I got D'Amico and Coleridge Bernard for the first one.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct, as they did it this season in 2023.
Second, I'm going to say Tomlin and Roethlisberger.
That is not correct.
Damn it. Okay, and then I'm going to go, wow. This one was probably back in the 50s, so I have no idea.
No, actually, the remaining two actually were fairly recent. After 2000, I will say. After
rookies didn't really play that much back in the day, so it doesn't make sense how it's recent.
Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson? No.
That is not correct, but that's a good guess. They did it in their second year, or at least Russell Wilson's second year.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so that's it for Toddy. Toddy gets a point, so he's currently in the lead with 4, but there are 2 more points available for this week's edition of Shaun's Pop Quiz. Gary, you put your finger up to indicate that you wanted to go next, so there are 2 remaining. Since 1950, there have been 3 rookie quarterback and head coach combos to win a playoff game. Who are they, Gary? There's 2 more.
Was it Joe Burrow and his coach?
What's his coach's name?
I don't know. I forgot right now. I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm trying to think who was a good rookie last 10.
His name, the Bengals head coach's name is Zach Taylor, and that is incorrect. So you get one more guess.
Let me see here. Who's it been a rookie that won a playoff game? Not Trevor Lawrence.
Both of these happened after the year 2000. So this century.
Man, sheesh. No, I don't know. No, not Peyton Manning, no. Drew Brees on Payne?
Nope, that's incorrect.
No,
Kaz?
he got later on.
So, Kaz, since 1950, there have been 3 rookie quarterback and head coach combos to win a playoff game. One of them is D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud. There's 2 more that have happened since after the year 2000.
This sucks. I want to say.
Oh, I got it, Shaun.
I don't know why. I don't think he's his coach for some reason. I want to say Marty Schottenheimer and RG3, but I don't think that they were.
RG3's coach was Mike Shanahan, and that's incorrect. So you get one more guess.
And then I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna say Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb.
that is also incorrect.
Yeah. God,
so Toddy,
these are good questions.
I appreciate it. Toddy, you said that you knew what one of the remaining 2 is at least.
Baker and Kevin Stefanski?
No, that is incorrect. And remember, Baker had a revolving door of head coaches to start his career. Remember, didn't he start with Mike Pettin?
No, he started with freaking whatever his name was.
But he didn't start with Kevin Stefanski.
No, never mind. Jared Goff and
there's
McVay?
No, that's incorrect. We're okay. So now that we've reached the free for all, I'll just give you guys one hint, and this one hint applies to both remaining duos. So both of these remaining duos lost in the AFC Championship game in their respective rookie seasons.
Blake Bortles and whoever the fuck.
Damn.
Blake Bortles is incorrect.
Damn it.
Like Blake Bortles and Doug Marrone? No, that's incorrect.
Trevor Lawrence.
No, he wasn't there.
Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer had a terrible rookie season.
Yeah, I forgot that was rookie.
I don't know.
All these players won when they were young, though.
Mark
I don't remember
Sanchez?
the rookie.
Damn it. No, never mind.
Who was a rookie, bro? The rookie.
They played in. You said they played in AFC Championship games.
Both of these head coaching and quarterback rookie duos lost in the AFC Championship game to conclude their rookie season.
Andrew Luck and Chuck Pagano. No, I didn't Chuck. Frick, who was his coach? It wasn't Tony Dungy. What? No.
Andrew Luck.
Is it Chuck? It wasn't Chuck Pagano.
Yeah, I think it was Chuck Pagano, but that's incorrect.
Andrew Luck wasn't a rookie, was he?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
All right, before I tell you guys who it is, I did hear one of the quarterbacks' names.
You heard it already.
I heard it from you, Jaevon.
Oh boy.
Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles.
It's Blake Bortles and whoever the fuck, bro.
No, Toddy, it's the most recent name that you said. You said his name and then you said no.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. You guys have given up. So after 1 week of Shaun's Pop Quiz, the leaderboard is Toddy 4, Gary 3, Kaz 2.
Mr.
You guys are going to be
Matt
kicked.
Nagy.
You guys, okay. All right. I will.
It's over. Tell us. No, go ahead, Shaun. Tell the answer now.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. This happened in 2008 and it happened in 2009. It was Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan in 2009.
Wow.
Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh in 2008.
I was gonna.
Joe Flacco.
We're trash.
John
We're
Harbaugh
trash.
John Harbaugh was a rookie coach that year. Really?
He was a rookie coach way back in 2008, Gary.
I did not know that.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I wanna know
Toddy,
the
you had
rookie
half the
coach.
answer earlier, but you doubted
Oh
yourself, or
my
you couldn't get
God.
Rex Ryan.
My brain just went fucking straight bananas with just. I'm like, I'm not ready for this shit, bro. Like,
I probably should
I'm
do
digging
Joe
deep in the
Flacco.
archives trying to find.
And Toddy said Mark Sanchez, and I was trying to keep my face as neutral as I could because I didn't want to like give it away. But
You got
almost-
it.
it's just like that Geico commercial. Like you almost had it. It's like the dangler. You almost had it, but no. So nevertheless, Toddy almost got a 5th point, but he's still in the lead with 4. Gary has 3, Kaz has 2, and that does it for Sean's pop quiz for this week. When's the next Sean's pop quiz? The world may never know.
Whenever it
We'll all
pops up.
find out together. Yeah, whenever it pops up. As we continue here on episode 81 of Stats Over Politics. Shout out to Kobe. But before we actually, I just thought of another. Well, yeah. So I actually just thought of another question, but our guy Kevin isn't here, but his infamous segment shall live on for now.
Did he
And
give you
I
a fucking
shall
factor
have
cap?
He didn't give me any factor cap, but I decided to have a factor cap for today because, just because Kevin's not here doesn't mean that we can't have his great segment, keep it going. And I know that this segment in particular does numbers on TikTok. So I got three Super Bowl factor caps, and then I actually got 1 NBA factor cap that we're going to end it with. But we're going to start things off with Kaz as our special guest. And thank you for joining us, Kaz. We really appreciate you. So, Kaz, factor cap. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time.
Top of the dome.
Shit, mega cap. It's Rob Gronkowski, and it's not close.
Ooh.
Wow,
Yeah.
close.
I mean, I'll elaborate.
Please do.
How many bowls?
Okay, huh?
How many bowls does Rob Gronkowski have?
I'm doing that. That's right.
I mean,
That's funny.
He's
4.
got what, 4?
Okay.
Yeah. So 1, he has more. 2, he is eye test wise, he's far more dynamic than Travis Kelce.
He blocked
and
too.
if I had to guess, his stats,
No.
they're beyond Travis Kelce.
Nah. You're all wrong about that one, Caston. But go to Kevin.
Which ones though? Touchdowns and yards, receptions. So Travis Kelce hasn't beaten touchdown yards and receptions.
In 1,000-yard seasons, he's already beaten the man. Overall yards.
I'm just talking about like in like Super Bowls.
In the playoffs?
Like,
just
playoffs,
Super Bowl.
Yeah, just like
playoffs
playoffs
too.
Yeah.
So he's gonna lead in touchdowns. He's with Rice. So
Okay. I'm wrong on that. I was gonna say I know regular season Kelce's had like 10 years of like 1,000 yards or whatever. I knew that.
Yeah.
But I still think that Rob Gronkowski is the greatest tight end of all time. I think just talent wise, he is significantly better than Travis Kelce. And this is coming from someone who's a Travis Kelce fan and not a Gronk fan. I heavily enjoy Travis Kelce. I respect him. I think he's great. I think he's probably the second best tight end of all time. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm immediately picking Gronkowski without even thinking twice.
So I know that we asked you about this once before, but this makes me think of the New Heights podcast, which is hosted by the Kelsey Bros.
Kelsey
and
Bros,
and so
because that's what their actual last name is, and the media LC. That's why he keeps.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an Eagles fan.
Yes, and so Kaz knows better, but I believe the most recent. I didn't see the whole episode, but I saw a soundbite on Instagram of the New Heights podcast, and they talked about this topic, and I'm pretty sure it was Jason who said, "You call me." Either Jason said, "Call me Kels," and then Travis said, "Call me Kelsey," or it was flipped. But they disagreed, and I just thought it was kind of entertaining. Anyways, now moving on to you, Gary. Factor cap.
Gary's at.
Well, yeah,
Well, I'm
that's
not.
true. But factor cap. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time, Gary.
No, I actually agree with Kaz. It's Cap. I don't believe he's greatest of all time just yet. But wait, only reason I was disagreeing with Kaz is because I felt like he was saying it was like not even close. And that's why I was like, nah, it's close. It's getting neck and neck right here. The thing about these positions, they don't always go by Super Bowls. Even though, I'm going to give Gronk the nod because of him playing longer, because he has one more. But these usually wide receivers, running backs, those type of positions usually go by more of a stats type basis of who is usually better. Usually, they even more lean on that more say, and obviously the eye test and how you won and things of nature obviously comes into factor as well. But in my opinion, Travis Kelce is neck and neck right now. And, there's a couple guys in there too, like Tony Gonzalez obviously should be in there. Shannon Sharp, who's been killing it on his whole sports stuff. His Unc has been killing it as well. He deserves to be in that conversation in terms of the greatest tight end ever. But Travis Kelce it's cap right now, but man, oh man, he's knocking at the door. Like I mentioned earlier to Kaz, he's going to end up being all the statistical categories he's going to have in his possession just due to the fact that he wasn't injured as much as Rob was, as well as he's just going to be playing longer with Patrick probably as well, because he came 2015ish, I think it was. I'm here when he got drafted, so he didn't have the full how basically Mahomes and Kelce are gonna have a little longer period together than maybe Gronk and Brady do. And so I feel like also due to the fact that him having an offensive head coach who puts him in these positions, how we just seen this weekend in the second half, he is overall, and we put it, I think, when the book is closed with Travis Kelce, I think we are going to name him the GOAT. And I think we're going to end up, like I've been saying, the baby GOAT tight end, the baby GOAT quarterback, and the baby GOAT coach are all in one umbrella right now, where they're right behind the greatest of all time, which happened to be in the same area as well, with a coach that played for the same franchise in Bill Belichick, quarterback and Tom Brady, and the tight end we're talking about right now, Rob Gronkowski, all playing for the New England Patriots. So they're one notch below, but they're only chasing these guys. So he's not the greatest tight end in my opinion just yet because of all the great plays that we've seen from both guys. It's really neck and neck because both guys have been ultimate clutch spot, and so crazy how both quarterbacks we're talking about here, the security blankets are their tight ends. And that just shows you the new era of the tight end. And Rob Gronkowski is really a part of that. Now, Travis Kelce, they're both really a part of that, but Travis Kelce kind of took it to the next level of how much that position is growing and how much basically everyone's saying they're a big receiver out there. So they both changed the game in many ways. I'm going to give the nod to Rob Gronkowski at the moment due to his extra ring and a little bit of just longevity. But man, oh man, Travis Kelce, that man is right there at it.
The mute button has gotten Shaun once again. He said, God
damn it. I was typing away on my keyboard and I didn't want everyone to hear the clickety clack. All right, Jaevon, factor cap. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time.
I'll say this is a fact. I just think, I get that Robert Gronkowski has more Super Bowl rings, but kind of what Gary was saying, when we look back at comparing running backs, wide receivers, more skill positions, we don't really look at the rings. The stats are pretty identical for the most part. I think Robert Gronkowski played a little bit longer, so his stats are better. But I think that Kelce is probably going to end up passing Robert Gronkowski. There are other greats too, like there's Tony Gonzalez, there's Shannon Sharp, obviously, Robert Gronkowski, there's Antonio Gates, Kellen Winslow. So there's just a bunch of guys that will be respected at that tight end position. But I think Travis Kelce will probably be, because he's not even really like a true tight end. He's like more of a hybrid like receiver, if that makes sense, because he doesn't really block that much. They usually line him up in the slot a lot, which is kind of where he works his magic a lot. And obviously him being a tight end is what his natural position is. But we've seen that he moves like around the field, and usually tight ends don't really get moved around like wide receivers like Travis Kelce does. So I feel like he's adding a different element to the tight end position, and what he's definitely changed the position, I believe, on what a tight end looks like and what they're able to do and how valuable they can be. So I'm going to say that this is a fact that Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time. And he's still adding to his resume as well. So I don't really see him slowing down. I'd say he's got like 3-4 years left at that. So I don't know how old he is, though. I'd have to look at what his age is. But I'd say like
he's the same age as Rob Gronkowski.
I'd say, I mean,
Gronk retired early.
Yeah, Gronk retired early because of injuries.
Back
I feel
issues.
like their styles of play is another reason why I feel like Kelsey will end up surpassing him because he'll be playing longer. And the way that he plays isn't kind of the similarities. It doesn't, fall in the similar category of how Rob Gronkowski was. He was a little bit more physical tight end, blocked a lot. They used him a lot in the blocking game as well. But he was a guy that he was just a mismatch on most guys, as is Kelsey. But I feel like his height played a huge role on him matching up against corners or linebackers. You just couldn't really stop him. Both of those guys are definitely out there. And I feel like, all tight ends are now hybrid wide receivers. And I feel like Kelsey definitely had played a role in, to change the game in that aspect as well.
Thank you to my friend Marty for tuning in. And shout out to Shardy. Anyways, to answer my own question, factor cap. I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna leave it there. Factor cap. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end. I knew I was gonna make myself laugh too much. Factor cap. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time. I'm going to tie it up. I'm gonna say this is a fact, and so I want everyone on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to let me know what you think, because we're split 2-2. But to me, Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time. And the reason why I worded the question like this is because I believe that we all agree that he eventually will. Oh, God. That's what Kevin would say if he was here. But I think we could all agree that Travis Kelce is going to be the greatest of all time when all is said and done. Like, the reason why I mentioned that Rob Gronkowski is the same age as him is like, he's done. His resume is complete. Tom Brady has retired, so I don't think Rob Gronkowski is going to come out of retirement again. So his resume and his stats are what they are. But Travis Kelce already has him beat in like half of them. The main one he doesn't is the 4 Super Bowls that Gronk has. Travis Kelce now has 3. And when Gronk retired for the first time, he had 3. But then he went down to South Florida and he won another one. And so with that being the main stat that Gronk hasn't beat at right now, and Travis Kelce is catching him if he hasn't already passed him in all of the individual tight end stats, to me, this is a fact. Travis Kelce is officially the greatest tight end of all time. The stats back it up. And that also makes me think about how when Bill Belichick was trying to surpass the great coaches that are out there, people were saying, oh, but he only has X amount of Super Bowls. When Tom Brady won his 5th Super Bowl and he came back from down 28-3 against the Falcons, he was still short. No, Tom Brady officially surpassed Joe Montana by getting the 5th. I was thinking of Mahomes trying to catch Brady. But anyways, Tom Brady was the greatest of all time by the time he won 5. Now he's won 7. And so Travis Kelce, to me, I think he will end up surpassing Gronk, but right now he's already the greatest of all time. Gary, I'm gonna toss it back to you, but Uncle Manny says real quickly, Mr. Swift is fact. And even to add that 123 million average viewers was because Travis Kelce's girlfriend was at the game. So that kind of also matters.
Also, just a side note, I think that he didn't play in one of the Super Bowls too that he got a ring off of. I'm pretty sure he was injured in one of those. I remember that. No, Mr. Gronk. He got injured in one of those.
Yes.
One of those runs, he got injured, I remember, and didn't have him in the bowl. He helped him the whole way to the bowl. But I can't remember what year that was, but
I think that was the second one that they lost to the Giants.
Oh, okay. So I'm just wondering. I'm just letting you know.
Young Gronk.
Yeah, for sure. And Marty says, shout out to your peach fuzz, Shaun. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that's what it is. This is what my facial hair looks like when I haven't shaved for 2 weeks. It's very impressive. I'm not on Kaz's level. Anyways, now moving on with Factor Cap. Factor Cap, Jaevon. Brock Purdy will never lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl.
It's a cap. I think our team is too good. I'm looking at the NFC. All right. Cowboys.
It's a raid question. Since I've been
the Lions, I feel like are coming, but I feel like they'll kind of come back to earth. I feel like the team that's ascending is the Packers. They have a lot to build off of. They're very young, so I feel like they'll be there. The Eagles are there. I I don't know how good the Bucks will be. They'll probably be losing a couple of guys in free agency. I guess the Cowboys will be in the mix, but how serious do we take them? I feel like I'm gonna say this team, the Saints, could be a team if they get right. They could be a team that could be in the mix. The Bears, they could be in it. Depending on how good Caleb Williams is, they could be a team that could.
Apparently, he's already a top 10 quarterback.
According to me, the Bears could be a team that could definitely be in the mix. I think the Vikings, if they re-sign Kirk Cousins, they could be a team that kind of be in the mix. So I think the Niners are the best team in the NFC, and I think they would just. I don't really see a team knocking the Rams are another team too. I feel like there's just a bunch of teams that could be in the mix, but I don't know if they would be better than the Niners. I feel like most of the teams that are better than the Niners are in the AFC. Like, there's the Ravens or the Bills. The Jets could be another team when Aaron Rodgers is healthy. So I feel like most of the teams that the Niners really would have to worry about are in the opposite conference. Versus in the NFC, I think the teams usually they're pretty much better than most of the teams in the NFC currently. From coach to players to quarterback, I feel like they're just better across the board than most teams in the NFC currently. All right, so yes, this is a cap for me. Sorry.
No worries. Kaz, fact or cap? Brock Purdy will never lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I prematurely put my hand on my face just because how quickly, Jaevon said, "Oh, that's cap." Now, after observing some things, and looking at my Twitch chat right now, someone made a really good point. The NFC does not have much competition in comparison to the AFC. I do understand, but the fact still remains: how good are the good teams in the NFC? Well, they're pretty damn good, and they're pretty well rounded. So it's not like the Niners are just gonna. Not that you're saying this, but it's not like the Niners just have this clear path back to the Super Bowl. First off, there's one major thing we got to focus on, and that is Brock Purdy, second year. He got to the Super Bowl. This is gonna be his third year, but I'm saying this is second year. Yeah. So this is the second year.
He got there in the second year.
He did get there. He did get there. And he's a very, very, very good game manager. I think he's a good quarterback. I'll give him his credit. He's a solid quarterback. He's solid. I think he's good. Okay. But I still need to see it for consecutive. It's just like the whole thing with Jalen Hurts after the second year. When we went to the Super Bowl. Listen, I'm just saying. Listen, I'm being fair here. I'm being transparent. But that was the whole thing. It's like, well, was it a 1 year thing? Joe Burrow. Was it a one-time thing when he went there, and then the next year, they were there to play against Mahomes and whatnot to go, but I mean they stunk it up. It's like, are these quarterbacks actually legitimate, or are they a product of their team? And I still don't know, because the Niners have a good team. You guys were favored to win the Super Bowl, and it's not because of Brock Purdy.
Ridiculous.
You're not. I don't think it was really ridiculous. It was only 2.5 points, 1.5 points, 1.5, right?
Yeah, but the other team has Patrick Mahomes.
True. But you guys have a stupid roster, and you guys got Chase Young in the middle of the season too to add to that dumb roster. The best linebacker.
He may or may not come back.
He
did pretty good yesterday. The trade was worth it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think that if I had to pick factor cap, I'm gonna say it is fact. He will never lead them back to the Super Bowl, and it's not because he's not good enough. I just think that the 49ers within the next 2 to 3 years, they're going to, I think this is about as good as you guys are going to get. Like, as good as you are right now, this is probably as good as you're going to get. And you didn't get it done now. And it's kind of the same thing with the Eagles, where I'm like, last year when we lost, I was like, fuck, dude, I think we're going to go back. But I would like to go back with the win and possibly repeat. I don't want to go back and have to, get our, you know what I'm saying? Because we're going to have to cut guys, which we did. And then now we're losing more. So it's like, unless you guys somehow, some way can keep this same roster, the same whatever, same roster, Shanahan's going to still be there. I just think that there's going to be another team that's going to be there's going to be another team that's going to be the one that's going to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, and it will not be under the watch of Brock Purdy. So I'm going to say it's a fact, but not because he's not good enough. I just think that other teams are going to get their chance to shine. So
may I interject before Gary goes? Yes, Kaz, as you did say that Brock Purdy was not going to go and lead his team back to the Super Bowl. And you said that. I knew you were going to say this. Oh, Jalen Hurts is going to be back and do this and that. Might I add, sir, you guys lost 2 coordinators. Yes, 2. You lost your offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen, and you lost, I forget what the Cardinals head coach's name is.
Jonathan Gannon.
Mr. Gannon, yes. And we saw what Jonathan Gannon was able to do with Pro Bowler Gardner Minshew. And, when Hurts doesn't have his coordinator, he looks a little shaky. So maybe Kellen Moore can revive his career. However, the Niners have a guy in the name who is Kyle Shanahan. He calls all the plays, but, you got guys leaving left, leaving right, go to the NFC Championship game. Oh, wait, he just left last year. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll go to another NFC Championship game. That's what we did last year. Oh, we lose another guy. We lost Mike McDaniel. We lost our pass game coordinator that went to the Texans. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We went and got to the Super Bowl. So that's my only thing. We lose a bunch of coordinators all the time.
He said Kellen Moore.
Still kind of the main constant is Kyle Shanahan, the guy who calls our plays. And we have Brock Purdy, a top 10 quarterback, I might add. So that's why I feel like his window is a lot more open than a lot more other guys in the NFC. So that's all I'm going to say. Gary, I'm going to let you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject.
No, it's like top 10. You're saying top 10 like it's so lovely category. That means you're I'm
looking at Gary's face. Every time you say I look at Gary's face, he's just
like a little better than half. A little better than over half. Okay. Good job. Well, anyways, go.
Gary is praying for a top 10 quarterback. I just might add that. So
all right, my quarterback sucks, bro. What I explained the expectations earlier. Expectations. Go ahead.
All right, Gary. Fact or cap? Brock Purdy will never lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl.
I don't know. If I say fact, it's like, I don't know. You say fact like you're hating on them. You say cap, this is like a loaded question to Shaun to bring back later, to be honest with you, if he ever does make it to the Super Bowl. I told you so. See, he wanted something to come out of today. He's like, the first 50 hour and 56.
I am getting the receipts ready to go.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Okay, never say never. So I will say cap.
Okay, Justin Bieber.
I guess I didn't even know that. I thought it was his song. Never say never.
Never.
So they could make it again. So I would say cap. I won't say never. He can't. Will it be highly unlikely? I think it'll be highly unlikely.
Not in the NFC.
You guys say that now, but like you said, you never know what's going to emerge. You don't know who's going to be traded. You don't know who's going to come to that side. You don't know when injuries might happen. Like we talked about, you guys been knocking on the door for how many years now? This is like the 4th year with this pretty good, solid roster. And as you shake your head, Shaun, you know that it's not. No one on all these Hall of Famers you guys have are getting younger, and it's not easy. Hall of Famers don't grow on trees in the spots you guys have greatness at. So yeah, well, can you knock on it maybe next year, the year after? Maybe, but you guys are forgetting. Kaz, they're forgetting something. The Mr. What's his name? Brock Purdy, what they call him? Mr. Unreliable, what's it called?
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant is gonna have to get paid sometime, and then they're gonna even have less guys.
2 more years. 2 more years on a rookie contract.
We only got 2 more years to step in this gap right here, which is getting maximized, where we don't know. Like I said, I don't think Shanahan should be in the hot seat at all. But again, if he again doesn't get it done in 2 years, does everyone start shifting the narrative of him? Can he get it done? Javon mentioned earlier how it took Andy Reid another 15 years to get it, to find a Patrick Mahomes. Is this his Patrick Mahomes? I just don't it's cap because I don't want to say never because of the loaded question Shaun gave me. But is it highly unlikely? I really think it's highly unlikely just because of the timetable window you guys have. The timetable window you guys have is closing. Just like the Bills are slowly closing, where they're going to have to do something to revamp the roster to, again, open up the window which is crazy to say, the Chiefs did by trading Tyreek Hill, which everyone thought was crazy, which actually now helped them get a better offensive line, and help them get better at defense, and now have the youngest defense now to open up the window bigger. So right now the window is closing for the Niners. So I don't know how much chance they really got. One good thing that you guys everyone harped on is that they're on the NFC. And right now the NFC is not looking as hard. But then again, there was 2 playoff rounds that we've seen from your guys' Niners that almost lost on this run itself, that you guys were down in both of these games and made a comeback. So, you guys made it there, but it could have been easily the Packers, easily the Lions. Don't even forget the Rams could be knocking on the door. So, we mentioned the teams that could knock on the door. You guys should be favored to get there again. So, I won't say never, but man, oh man, it's looking highly unlikely with the window closing.
All right, factor cap. Brock Purdy will never lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl. Just want to give a quick little bit of background as to why I thought of this question is because one of my friends who is a Raiders fan, was trying to troll me because he was like, yeah, well, at least my team could beat the Chiefs this year. And okay, congratulations on your regular season win, basically was my response to him. And he sent me a screenshot from Reddit, and it's a stat. The stat says the last 16 quarterbacks to lose in their Super Bowl debut have never even made it back to the Super Bowl. That list of quarterbacks includes Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Rex Grossman, Matt Hasselbeck, Donovan McNabb, Jake Delhomme, Rich Gannon. Then we got Steve McNair, Drew Bledsoe, not as a starter. He was the backup.
He sounds like this realm. I might change my fact.
Collins, Donald,
he sounds like he's in this realm.
On that list, we have 2 49ers quarterbacks from the last 2 Super Bowls. There's obviously Jimmy Garoppolo and Colin Kaepernick. So that's what made me think of this question. To answer my own question, Brock Purdy will never lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl factor capped. This is a cap. Come on. And it's because they're in the NFC. For the same exact reason why if this said Jalen Hurts will never lead the Eagles back to the Super Bowl, I'd say that's cap because he's in the NFC. Because
Hurts
one of
the
the biggest
quarterback.
threats. Okay, thank you, Kaz. But you know, the funny thing about that is that Kaz mentioned earlier how Jalen Hurts getting the Eagles to the Super Bowl last year like cemented him as a top 10 quarterback. And now a year after them making it to the Super Bowl, I see your Super Bowl ring, Kaz. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, must be nice. Must be nice to see your team win a Super Bowl. I can't relate. But did that say Nick Foles? Oh my God, that says Nick Foles on it.
The statue.
But yep. So anyways, I'm going to say that this is cap. Brock Purdy will lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl. And the main reason why is because number 1, they're in the NFC. Number 2, the team is built to win now over the next 2 years before he has to get paid. And number 3, to me, Brock Purdy is here to stay in Santa Clara. Unlike Jimmy Garoppolo, who, even though I was one of his supporters, you had people like Jaevon, who definitely weren't. Many other 49ers fans said Jimmy Garoppolo's not the guy. He overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. You have a better quarterback, he wins you that game. I think Brock Purdy would have completed that throw if he was in that same situation in the Super Bowl.
I said Trey Lance was the guy.
Yeah, well, I also thought Trey Lance was the guy, but Brock Purdy proved that he's the guy. And so my overall point is Brock Purdy's going to be around for at least the next 2-3 years while he's on his rookie contract. And I think the 49ers can get back to the Super Bowl during that window. Maybe I'm just a naive fan, but I'm going to say that this is cap. Brock Purdy will lead the 49ers back to the Super Bowl. And hey, we appreciate everyone from Kaz's Twitch stream for coming over. As Crunk Jeezy says, hey, I'm here from Kazzy Bear's Twitch. What up, y'all? What's up? We appreciate you
tuning in, brother.
As well as Gray Wolf. So we appreciate you guys for coming over. And now, final 2 questions for the guys as we just surpassed 2 hours and we got to get out of here. But definitely got to ask this next one. And then I even thought of this 4th one just while we're recording. And once we get to it, you guys will understand why. So real quickly, we'll get through these last 2. I'm going to throw this one to Gary first because, Gary, you're the guy who said that the Chiefs would repeat as Super Bowl champions. You say that Patrick Mahomes is the baby GOAT, a.k.a. the baby Michael Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan, he three-peat. Not once, but twice. So, Gary, factor cap. The Chiefs will three-peat as Super Bowl champions in 2025.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was really thinking about this question all day. Should I come up here and just say it today? Let me hold off to see what the acquisitions they make. But since I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, I'm rocking with it. Three-peat it is. Fact. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be doing something that's never been done before. And I don't think ever in NFL history doing a three-peat.
That is correct. It's never happened.
And I think this is the team that could do it, man. They let the Kansas City Chiefs win back-to-back with basically no receivers throughout the regular season in terms of having someone to count on. They have a defense that's one of the youngest defenses that will be coming back next year. Travis Kelce's already ready to go. As long as you got the three-headed goat, like I mentioned earlier, the three-headed baby goats, and Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid. And you also got, I'm just going to give all the credit to their defense too, and the head coach too on the defensive end. Spagnuolo, he went crazy too. So if they got these guys right now who are, just all ready to go, and they keep supplementing any type of receivers, they just catch the ball from my guy, Patrick Mahomes, and they can just keep him upright in terms of the line, man, that's one of the key things as well. Obviously, I named the whole phases of all the games, but they have those phases locked and loaded in their arsenal. And like we mentioned, like my uncle always said, they always take, and like Kaz mentioned earlier, and how Mayvon was mentioning too, that when you win, they strip your team down. You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants a piece of this, piece of that, and they all want a little Super Bowl champions. Everyone wants a bag. This team, they all been talking about it there in rare air, and they have a chance to do something special. So I'm assuming there might be a little pay cuts to keep this thing together and things of that nature. So I'm going to go on a limb. This is going to be a three-peat. And, yeah, Chiefs 3 run in a row. And then the GOAT conversation gets even more trickier. And we have all these same conversations all again next year. But until I see it happen, until I see Patrick Mahomes lose to somebody, and he keeps knocking down all these great AFC quarterbacks, knocking down the MVP, knocking down basically MVPs in the regular season. 3 guys I mentioned earlier, and Tua and Josh Allen, and knocked out Joe Burrow before, knocked out Trevor Lawrence before. And all these guys are up on his tail, knocking all of them out, man. I just feel like Shaun mentioned, he's going to pull a three-peat like Mike did. So, in fact, they're going to get a three-peat.
Jaevon, factor cap. The Chiefs will three-peat as Super Bowl champions in 2025.
This would be crazy, because then people will start saying that Brady never three-peated it. He's so I think this is a cap. Now it's easy to say that now, but yeah, I'm looking at it from Josh Allen will be back next year. Lamar will have another deep playoff run coming back. Joe Burrow is going to be coming back too. CJ Stroud. Like I said, it's a lot harder in the AFC, but Patrick Mahomes,
he's going to keep doing it.
He does it year in, year out. And the craziest part is the Chiefs will probably get better, because I feel like they're going to sign Mike Evans to this team.
Man, oh my fucking God. Please no.
And I'm saying,
if you get back a number one receiver,
I'm saying this
good luck,
pre NFL free agency. And I feel like the Chiefs get Mike Evans. I might have to retract my statement, but for right now, I'm going to say that this is a cap. But I mean, they have the best football. They have the best coach, and they have the best quarterback. So usually when you have 2 of those guys on the same team, it's very tough to overcome. So I'm going to say this is a fact, just due to everybody coming back next year from injury.
The factor cap.
Deshaun Watson.
You mean cap.
Or yeah. So this is definitely a cap for me.
All right, Kaz, factor cap. The Chiefs will three-peat as Super Bowl champions in 2025.
Very hard to factor cap this one, just because it's like, I'm like, oh, of course they can. Like they can. 100% they can. Like,
but will they?
Will they?
You gotta say cap as Eagles fan, huh? I know my team's out. That's why I know it.
Man.
Anytime Kenny Pickett's your quarterback, yeah.
All the Chiefs got to do is get there.
They've just got
to get there, man. And they have proven time and time again. Mahomes has been it's fact. It's fact. Mahomes, has he ever missed an AFC Championship game?
No.
What's that answer?
No.
He's
not as a starter.
How many more years do you need for him? This is the worst roster that they've had since he's been in a quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. They don't have and they won. They started the season off. They were not favored to win the Super Bowl. They weren't even favored to even come out of the division up until I think it's week 7 or 8. I think it was. Yeah, but like week 7 or 8 is where we start to see that the Broncos were going to Bronco and become who they ended up being. But regardless, they were a high mid-tier team all season long, and I think it was me and Gary maybe said it best when we were talking about the playoffs. Who's the scariest team? We both said, I think Kev did too, said it's the Chiefs. They proved it again. How many more years do you need for Patrick Mahomes to just make it to it? All you got to do, it's already set in stone. They're going to get to the AFC Championship game. So that's already there. You don't have to even wait for that. So all they have to do is just win that game. This is 100% fact. I think that if we ain't there, you know what I'm saying? But if we there, I can't say that.
Yeah, well, that didn't do anything last year.
If we there, I can't say that. But if I'm trying to be unbiased and be real right now, I will say it is fact. I could totally see it happening, and I would not be surprised if it does happen. They're only going to get better. They're going to get their, pick number 32 and 64 in the draft. They're going to get they don't need a stud receiver. They're going to get one. You got Rasheed Rice, you got Kadarius Toney. I know it's nothing, but Kadarius Toney. You got Marquez Valdes-Scantling just came back. Kelce ain't going anywhere. Mahomes obviously ain't going anywhere. Their offensive line is going to continue to get better. They're only going to get better. This was the year for them to not be good, and they're going to come back. Even this is a fact. I hate to admit it, but it's a fact. They're going to 3.
The reason why
the Eagles ain't there
seed is because Kadarius Toney lined up offsides.
Well, they would have been the number 2 seed, but nevertheless.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, he's done. How many things has Mahomes done that were like, okay, like, well, he's never been see it more. He's not. Yeah, he's never won a playoff game on the road. Well, he went to Buffalo and just said, well, here it is, laid it on the table for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, and then everybody makes excuses. Like, bro, making excuses. Look at their damn team. You act like they got the best Chiefs team we've ever seen, and they're also in the refs are on their side, bro. Y'all had nothing but a golden opportunity to take this team down and go in there and handle business the way that a lot of these great AFC teams should have done, and you couldn't do it. Why? The referees. Come on, bro. Come on.
No,
man.
it's because we didn't know the overtime rules. That's why.
No, not you guys. Not you guys. Talking AFC teams that complain about because there's Ravens fans saying like, oh my god, like. We should have this and that, and then you got Bills fans.
Marshall not through interception, man.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like you have the roster, go out there and do it. It's 100% a fact, man. Unless we're there, but if we're not there, it's a fact.
All right, fact or cap? The Chiefs will three-peat as Super Bowl champions in 2025. I say that this is cap. It has never happened in NFL history. I'll even take a look at all of the great teams that have repeated as Super Bowl champions, which. That's what Travis Kelce was saying going into this game and how big of a deal it was. As he said, like, I know that there's a club of teams that have repeated as Super Bowl champions, and it has now happened 9 times. You have the Packers, the Dolphins, the Steelers did it twice, 49ers, Cowboys, Broncos, and Patriots. Now the Chiefs just joined that club. But of those 8 previous 2-time champions back-to-back, none of them were able to accomplish it. Not only were they not able to win a Super Bowl for the 3rd year in a row, they did not even reach the Super Bowl. We've seen the Patriots make it back trying to repeat, and they failed to repeat. They lost to the Eagles. But the team that has gone back-to-back hasn't even made it back to the game. Yeah, Kaz, I see the ring. Keep rubbing it. But anyways, I said that this is cap because not only has back-to-back champions not won a Super Bowl in the 3rd consecutive year, but they haven't even made it back to the game. And I know that if anyone's going to do it, it's Patrick fucking Mahomes. But, the thing that's unfortunate about a sport, especially like football, is all it takes is one injury. One injury to Patrick Mahomes, one injury to Travis Kelce, and your season is a wrap. But I will say that a devastating injury to Patrick Mahomes is probably the only way that a lot of teams will even have a chance to win the Super Bowl in coming up years. Knock on wood. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying there's a lot of factors that could happen that lead to them not even getting back to the Super Bowl. And that's also what grinds my gears so much. But that's what grinds my gears so much. Not even so much about the 2 Super Bowl losses to the Chiefs. To me, the biggest missed opportunity within the last 5 years was in 2021. When Jaquaski Tart dropped the interception in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. In the 1 year, in the last 5 years, that Patrick Mahomes did not make it to a Super Bowl, the 49ers couldn't get there either because they couldn't beat the team that they beat 8 times in a row. And so to me, that's the biggest missed opportunity was 2021. The 49ers could have and should have won the Super Bowl that year, but yet they missed their opportunity. And that season stands out to me more than even these 2 Super Bowl losses to the Chiefs. But I say that this is cap. The Chiefs will not repeat. As we start to wrap things up here on episode 81 of Stats Over Politics with Kaz Johnson, one final question, and you guys will now understand why I'm choosing to ask this question is because recently we had the 4-year anniversary of the late great Kobe Bryant and 8 others tragically passing away in a helicopter crash. And I will never forget where I was that day when I found out about it. And we don't need to get into all of that. But the reason why I mentioned that day is because on January 26, 2024, one of Kobe's favorite young players made history. And Luka Doncic recorded 73 points, even brought out the sign just like Wilt. But it wasn't 100 points like Wilt, but it was 73 points against Julian's Atlanta Hawks. And after Luka put up 73 points, it made me think of this question, and especially since this recently happened a couple weeks ago, but also given that this is episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, guys, I want to know, and Kaz, I'm going to start things off with you. This season in 2024, we got about 2 months left in the NBA regular season. I want to know, factor cap, this season, someone will break Kobe's record of second most points in a game all time with 81 points. Not asking about Wilt with 100, but since Luka Doncic was 8 points short a couple weeks ago, Kaz, what do you think?
I'd say cap. It's too difficult of a feat to surpass with only 2 months left. I think that it's been amazing. How many games did we see this season? It was like Cat had 69 or 70, right? What do you
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the same day, it was like within like an hour or whatever. Cat went off after Luka went off for 73. First off, Donovan Mitchell, he was up there with 60 some. I want to say it's just a little too far out of reach. Wilt's was one not even recorded ever, and there's a conspiracy rolling around that never actually really happened. And as for there is, and then Kobe's is Kobe's, and we witnessed that, and it was crazy. And if you watch that entire game, which I'm sure we all have as fans of basketball, I mean, he didn't even have like the best. He didn't have a perfect game. He shot a lot. He's at the free throw line a lot, and he scored 81 points. I think that's going to stick around for a little bit longer. I think if we're going to see something like that, which I think we will, I think that it won't be with 2 months left in the season before the playoffs start. So if this was the beginning of the season and we saw these guys drop 73 points and 69 or whatever, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. These guys are about to do something crazy. We're going to see this again. It also was Joel Embiid. He had 70 something as well. That it was him and Cat and then Luka.
And now he's hurt.
Yeah. I think that we'll see a good chunk of 60-point performances. We might see another 70, and that's going to be about it. But the 81 is going to continue to be the second and most legitimate highest score game in NFL history or NBA history. So,
Gary, factor cap. This season, someone will break Kobe's record of second most points in a game all time with 81 points.
I'm going to say cap because I don't want someone to break it, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say cap, and I'm going to give bad karma to everyone who's ever close to breaking it. Obviously, everyone knows I'm a Kings fan, so Kobe is a love-hate relationship, but always respected the man to forever because of how many great moments and how great of a player he was. And, these guys are knocking on the door, Kaz. So I do think it's probably bound to happen very soon here. Don't know if it's this season, next season, but just the unlimited weapons we got in the league. We can go down the list of guys who probably could get it. Devin Book, KD, Kyrie, Luka, Embiid, Jokic, if he wants to go get it, can go get it. There's so many players who could, there's so many players who could get it one day. And, there's so many guys who are so versatile and so much in their bag. I know everyone's trying to say defense this, defense that. My mind, I just really feel like everything has been up to level. I do kind of feel like the 50 is a new 70 in a way, in a sense. I do kind of feel like that, but at the same time, it's still hard to get these numbers these guys are getting. To get 73 is crazy what Luka did. And so I do feel like it's easier to get because of the talent they are, but it's still hard all in all to get to what has to happen to get 81. So I think it's cap. I don't think it's going to happen this season, but they're knocking on the door for it. And before we leave, I know we head out of here and we have a time to talk because we didn't have an NBA show this past Friday. But since we're on episode 81 too, just want to give a huge shout out to the whole Lakers organization for what they did for Kobe and his statue. They're going to be dropping 3. And real quick, I just want to give just the biggest praise and shout out. And you better, what's up, Sean?
No, I'm sorry. I was recreating Kobe's trophy where he's holding up the one.
Exactly. And just them giving 3, one with him in 24, one in 8, and one with him and his daughter. I feel like they fully deserved that. And I just wanted to harp on real quick for really, man. His wife, Vanessa Bryant, is a real GOAT, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, even me, I don't understand how much power she has. You got to give her all the credit in the world to be as strong as a human, not as a woman, as a human, just to go up there in front of everyone loves your husband and things of nature, to say solid, to not even shed a tear. I don't know how she even does it, to like say the perfect words of which he would probably say. Like, man, rest in peace to that man. He chose one of a great, powerful woman in his corner to represent him. Obviously, a lot of people can't do that, man. Like, that's a tough thing to ask, tough thing to go give a speech on your husband and your daughter's passing, basically, and honor them and stay strong and give perfect words and give everyone just power and say everything perfectly, man. So shout out to Vanessa Bryant, just being a real one, a real wife, like someone that, has holds you down. Like, that should be like commended as a woman, as a person, because that's really tough to do, man. Like, I can't even hold back shedding tears, and then they're saying all their speeches and she's over there just laying it down how Kobe would, straight up. So shout out to her, just always holding strong and holding her man's legacy down to the T and to the 10th degree, and the best as anyone ever could. So shout out to her, man. She really deserves it.
Yeah, and as Vanessa said at the the statue ceremony,
tough shit.
Kobe picked out the pose. So if you don't like it, tough shit. And then Nike even sent her a tough shit sweater, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's tough.
Javon, factor cap. This season, someone will break Kobe's record of second most points in the game all time with 81 points.
I'm going to say this is a cap. I agree with Gary. I think that I don't know if this is going to happen this season, but people are getting pretty fucking close. Like, Luka had 73, Embiid had 71, Cat had 60, and like all in the span of like 2 weeks, which is insane. And we've seen guys like D-Book, Donovan Mitchell go off for 70 in times past. But I mean, we always hear about the Wilt 100-point game, but I never saw it. There's no video footage, just a picture of this dude holding up 100 points. So, like, did he really score 100 points, or he just 100?
The world may never know.
So, we saw Kobe score 81, and his teammates easily said he could have definitely went for 100, just based off how the flow of that game was going. But, I mean, there's guys like Steph Curry who can just light up, the 3-point range. He could fuck around and hit like 23s in a game at any point in time. So I'm just saying he's a guy that you could definitely watch out for. The guys like Trae Young, Luka Doncic, obviously, Joel, we've seen, Cat went off, Donovan Mitchell, KD, Book. Like, there's just a bunch of crazy scorers in this game now. I feel like the game is a lot more skilled than it once was back in the day. So I don't know if we'll see anybody get to 81, but I mean, they got pretty damn close, because I thought it was on Kobe's birthday that Luka went off for 73, which was insane.
No, it was the anniversary of his. It was
anniversary of 81.
It was the anniversary of his passing.
Yeah. So that's why I felt like if it was going to be broken, it might have been that day, which would have been pretty insane. And Luka's one of the guys that Kobe really loved watching. He was one of the guys that he mentioned of, one of his favorite players that he likes to watch in the modern day. So
Spokesman told him the sideline.
And even going back to what Gary was saying about the 3 statues that he's getting, it's pretty insane. It just speaks to his greatness, and one of the greatest players of all time. I definitely say of our generation, he's definitely one of the greatest players. I grew up watching Kobe and idolized him. So for the factor cap segment, I'm going to say that this is the cap. I don't think anyone's going to score 81 this season.
All right, factor cap. This season, someone will break Kobe's record of second most points in a game all time with 81 points. And I worded this question very specifically to say this season, because I knew that some answers would be, I think it's going to happen eventually, but probably not this season. We've had 3 caps so far. I'm not even going to play devil's advocate. I truly believe what I'm about to say. I say that this is a fact. Someone will break Kobe's record of second most points in a game all time with 81 points this season. And Jaevon said the player that I think is going to do it. Stephen Curry, just a couple weeks ago, scored 63 points.
He did have 60.
And the Warriors lost.
Yeah, they lost.
63 points in an L.
Their team sucks.
And, I think Stephen Curry is going to do it because Chris Paul is still out. Klay Thompson isn't even in the game in the last 2 minutes anymore. Draymond Green is always going to have his antics. Him and Nurkic were going back and forth. But I think Stephen Curry, if someone's going to do it, it would be Stephen Curry, and he would do it trying to get the Warriors into the playoffs or even the play-in late in the season. Steph knows he needs to carry the team. He goes out there, and he doesn't make 23-pointers, Jaevon. He makes 33-pointers, and he ends up with well, maybe not 30 because we're talking over 81 rather than over 100. But he makes 25 3-pointers and a couple 2-pointers, some free throws. Okay, maybe actually 20 3-pointers, then 5 2-pointers and 10 free throws. I'm gonna say fact: Stephen Curry will break Kobe's record of second most points in a game all time.
If we're picking a player to beat it, I got Luka or Embiid because those guys get fouled all day and they're going their pace. And
I was just
especially
about to say.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Denver might get 70 in the paint, literally under the 3-point line.
I was just gonna say too. You mentioned Stephen Curry. Jacking up threes and possibly doing it. Does he have the potential to? Yes. But what people don't understand is, you know how tiring it is to do this. Have you guys been at the fair and played those games where you're shooting? Yeah. Okay, you need to go to the free throw line. There's all these guys that have these high scoring point games. Kobe 81, Luka 73. How many free throws they got? Look at it's a free throw game. It is. You got who knows how many points worth of free throws. This ain't just I'm shooting lights out. Nah, it's gonna be a free throw game. You need to get to the line, a lot of and ones, and on top of that, hit the 3 ball and whatnot. So I mean, again, this is why I say, and we all said besides Shaun, it's capped, not gonna happen because you gotta pretty much have almost like all that happen for you on top of shooting well. And since Kobe's been in the league, or out of the league, it's like I haven't seen anybody that has been as dynamic from anywhere on the court than Kobe Bryant. When he's on, and it's in a way that I have not seen yet. There's guys in the league right now that play phenomenal. They can score. Luka can do whatever he wants. LeBron in his prime, could do whatever he wants. Joel Embiid as a post guy can do whatever he wants. But you guys know when Kobe, when he was on, it doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing you can do. He'll give you 20 and a quarter for multiple quarters. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And do it within the same month, within the same week. You know what I'm saying? It's too hard of a feat to surpass. I think. I don't know. Again, you got to get to that free throw line. That's all I'm gonna say. If a guy can get to the free throw line, so I like what somebody said. They can see Luka doing it or Embiid. I would say to those guys because they do get fouled a lot. Because it ain't gonna be well, you scored 81 points or 82 points and you shot 73% from the field and you only had 10 points of free throws. No, ain't happening.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And now it's time to get out of here, guys. But I got a couple photos I want to show real quickly because let's never forget that the 49ers beat the Eagles 42-19. And Kaz had to put on a jersey that showed how many points the Eagles scored in that game. Every Eagles fan hates Deebo Samuel, but Kaz wanted to show us.
Put it right there in the camera for
Kaz wanted to show us how many points the Eagles scored in that game.
Mm-hmm. How many points scored in the Super Bowl in 2017?
Well, a lot. more than the Patriots. So for one final time this season, I had to display this photo, and Kaz is a great sport. And we heard from Kevin. We heard from Kevin yesterday. And unfortunately, I left the group chat because I couldn't stand Evan anymore. But so I couldn't display the photo that Kevin sent, but Kevin sent the infamous meme, except instead of AJ Brown, it was Brock Purdy. We know the infamous Jaevon meme, but recently I got a notification on my Snapchat saying, on this day in 2016. And what popped up on my Snapchat? None other than Jay Balla pooping back at Rosemont back in the day. Killing it.
I was down 32-18 on the home that day. I was losing that day.
Damn, Gary, why you got to look at the score? Just
I want to know how many points you had. How many points you had, bro?
I had no idea.
Well, that's going to do it for episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics. Shout out to Kaz Johnson for joining us. Make sure to give us a like on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And if you enjoyed the podcast, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on X at Stats or Politics. See all the great content Kevin's putting out there. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. And if you're enjoying the show, give us those 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. As you guys have been tuning into episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, For my guys, Jaevon, Toddy, Kevin Dent, Gary Singh, and Kaz Johnson, I'm your host, Sean Holko. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next Monday for another episode of Stats Over Politics.
Peace, baby goat.